System 72956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair, unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in stream deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips.
We are ATMO Esports. We set the bar and cross the finish line. Being the absolute best isn't a gift. It's a lifestyle. Fueled by dedication, it is the ability to push past your breaking point, time and time again. That is why we're here. Join us in conquering the most unforgiving environments the verse has to offer. Unite under our banner to become what you were meant to be. Against all odds, stand victorious amongst the legends. Citizens from across the known systems, from all walks of life, across the criminal spectrum, the fiercest competitors will compete in the most remote locations. Only determination, your trusted craft, and luck can carry your team across the finish line in one piece. Become a champion. Or ride the sidelines to support your favorite team, cheering them to victory. Racing is in our blood. We are ATMO Esports. We're built for this. Are you? Visit atmo.gg to learn more.
System 72956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair, unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips.
We are ATMO Esports. We set the bar and cross the finish line. Being the absolute best isn't a gift. It's a lifestyle. Fueled by dedication, it is the ability to push past your breaking point, time and time again. That is why we're here. Join us in conquering the most unforgiving environments the verse has to offer. Unite under our banner to become what you were meant to be. Against all odds, stand victorious amongst the legends. Citizens from across the known systems, from all walks of life, across the criminal spectrum, the fiercest competitors will compete in the most remote locations. Only determination, your trusted craft, and luck can carry your team across the finish line in one piece. Become a champion. Or ride the sidelines to support your favorite team, cheering them to victory. Racing is in our blood. We are ATMO Esports. We're built for this. Are you? Visit atmo.gg to learn more.
System 72956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair. Unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to System 7, 2956, race 3 and 4. We're about to get ready here for race number 4. But before we do that, we have some updates to the leaderboard for you guys after race number 3, which will then pair up on who's going to be racing who in our upcoming heat race. So let's take a look at the leaderboard. Red Monster, take it away.
Yeah, still at the top is Sire Racing Team, holding on with 61 points. Kuroda Initial D at 33 points. We saw some movement from Amarok's Fang coming up at 30 points. Catcom at 30 points. Team Tang at 28. Punch Nomi's at 27. Premier Card Colonial at 27. SPG Racing at 21. I'm going to take that second column for us.
Yeah, Test Squadron still holding strong at 20 points. We got Warframe at 13. Delta Dietis at 8. Just Brush at 8. And then we got A Drunken Turtle Racing at 6. R/SC at 4. Dune Riders with 3 points. And then in 16th place, we got Reynolds Racing at 2. And we're still calculating our fastest lap, so we haven't awarded that point just yet here for race number 3. We have to kind of look back at our VODs and determine who's going to get that fastest lap point. But we're definitely getting a lot of movement. Skyer Racing Team still holding with a good lead of, I would say that's a good 28 points that they're holding on to ahead of second place. But like I mentioned, Punch Nomies is putting it into gear. A lot of teams are really putting things into gear right now, and are definitely going to be creeping up in the next couple of races. And especially for this race number 4, where it's going to be completely time-based here, Red Monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one thing to note, the point difference between basically second place and 9th place, 13 points total. You'll make that difference up in the period of one race based on point differentials. So, some really great performance from some of the folks that were in the middle of the pack. We did see Test Squadron drop off a little bit, but we saw Punch Nomies move up quite a bit. Team Catcom looking really, really happy there in the middle of the pack. And yeah, Sire Racing Team seems like they've got a comfortable almost lead right now, but there are a handful of other races they're going to have to survive through. So we will be looking through that race 3 standings, definitely shuffling up the middle of the pack, but it's going to be very competitive, right? 13-point difference between positions 2 and position 9. So
upcoming for race number 4, you're going to have Skyer Racing Team, Kuroda Racing, Amarok's Fang, and Capcom racing each other in the first initial heat. Again, it doesn't matter who's racing who. It all matters about the timing that they're going to be able to put in. The timings was going to put people from 1st through 8th place, and then 1st through 4 will be going into our winners finals race, and then 5th through 8th is going to go into a runners-up finals race coming up in this heats race. So even though they're 1 through 4, even if 1st and 2nd got the 2 of the fastest laps, they're still going to be able to go up to that winners finals race. So it's all time based. So still, some of these teams, if all 4 get the fastest times, then you never know at that point. But Deadman's Hook, I believe you have 3 laps. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map right now. Deadman's Hook is not going to be unforgivable here. So I think this map is going to be very, very tricky for a lot of people to remember, especially that little, what do I call it? That little pimple that's sticking out. I don't know what we want to call it, but
yeah, that little offshoot there.
Yes. So that's going to, some people might, they can't forget about it. They may not, or when that's going to happen. So I hope that teams, especially, this was an easy one to practice with 3 laps, should be easy to make up. And again, it's not about placements, it's about how fast you can clear this track, Red.
Yeah. And yeah, as I mentioned, this is going to be over the water here on the Ellis system, Winner's Circle Racetrack in Arena Commander. 4 players, 4 racers per heat. It's all time-based, as you mentioned. So we're going to see broken down positions 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12, and 13 through 16, trying to put in their best times on the initial heats. And then that's going to break it down between our runner-up teams and our final teams for the overall points in race number 4. We're going to have 6 heats that are going to be very, very competitive. And again, this is a Gravlev vehicle. We're not in 0G anymore, but we are going to be here with the Origin X1 velocity, 206 meters per second ground speed over this water. And I think it's going to be pretty impressive. Hopefully, also gives us a little bit clearer views of the racers today, since we are going to have a more controlled area without having to deal with the Levski traffic in the persistent universe. So.
Yep. So with that being said, let's go back to the leaderboard really quickly so we can see exactly which heats are going to be racing who. And of course, as we mentioned, our race number 1 is going to be Skyer, Kuroda, Mrox Fang Racing, and Capcom. And then race number 2 is going to be Team Tang, Punch Nomis, Premier Corps Colonial, and SPG Racing. And then our third race is going to be Test Squadron, Warprum, Delta Dietus Racing, and Just Brush. And then our last race is going to be AAWA Drunken Turtle Racing, R/SC, Dune Riders, and Randlos Racing. So this is going to allow a lot of these teams that are definitely some elite teams that are towards the end to definitely come out and show up on top, and then hopefully take a good lead in the timing and be able to come out on top and still get into that winner circle side. So again, it's not going to be about placement. It's all going to be about timing.
Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be a little bit more open with only 4 racers in the track and a longer track here. 3 laps to do it. With that little offshoot, there is a chance you're going to have some cross traffic going through, but I think that's the main risk factor within this track. So should be the safest track they run up to this point, and excited to see what the fastest times come in at. There is still a point for that fastest lap time available in these heat-based races. So.
Yep. And we're going to be looking at it here shortly. With that being said, we have, let's talk a little bit about our upcoming events here. We have Gravity Rush, which is our ship racing event, our premier ship racing event with it's no teams. It's just you competing against some of the best racers in Arena Commander in the PU. So let's take a look at the upcoming Gravity Rush, which signups are going to be opening here very shortly in the next week. All right, welcome back. So yeah, so next week we should we're almost getting prepared for signups to open. And I believe we're gonna in order to qualify for Gravity Rush, you're gonna have to put in a time trial within ser.gg, which would also be opening up next week. So excited to see all of the new racers coming out for Gravity Rush here in this. This is gonna, well, last year was our inaugural season, and then this year is gonna be a whole new season. Not season, but a whole new championship across the board. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an exciting event there. Definitely get into the registration early as those open up. So it sounds like our groups are working on getting the heats organized right now, preparing to launch that. But yeah, I think we'll be seeing some good teams, some good breakdown here as we start into the heat-based race number 4, Deadman's Hook. So.
Yeah, as we move in here, we should be good. But let's jump into some of our sponsors that we did left out earlier today, which we just finished talking about Pigeon Spaceport, but I want to talk about Virpil Controls, who has been, by the way, I want to talk about this a little bit because Virpil Controls is opening their showroom in order to get citizens to come out to some of their locations. I believe one is in the UK and another one's in Tampa. They want people to come out and do and test out some of the monster tech and Virtual Controls rig that they have put together. So to get citizens to put some of their best laps up, and then we're going to be working with them to try to get a leaderboard going, and then whoever has the best times towards the end of the year can hopefully win some sticks if you're located in either the UK where they're at, or maybe you want to take a trip, or maybe somewhere in Tampa. So but Virtual Controls delivering precision engineering flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. These guys make some incredible flight sticks, so please check them out. And they just came out with their CDT Cadet series or the Aeromat Cadet series, so more affordable sticks as well. So if you guys are around the UK or maybe somewhere in Florida and you want to take a trip and hopefully show off and get yourself on that racing leaderboard, that's something that's going to be we're going to be announcing and coming up very, very soon. So very excited for that, Red.
Awesome. Yeah, Virpil is definitely on the list with a precision engineered, high quality flight stick. So
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And then of course we have Corsair, who's been supporting us and came in hot for End to Atmosphere, who gave us some incredible pricing for during the Daymar Rally as well. So shout outs to them for really putting this all together for us. But I mean, they have that new Stream Deck keyboard that has been really taking I guess the peripheral game by storm. They can't even keep it in stock. It's been really, really good for Star Citizen. So you know, unlock total control with the Galleon 100 SD keyboard, a high performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck, which is great because you can plug in things like what do you call man, I totally forgot
your macros and stuff, right?
Yes, macros. I forgot our other friend who they already have like
City.
Icon City. There you
right.
go. Thank you so much. Yes, Icon City has already preload macros and has this all already fully organized for you, and they do it every patch. They update your icon pack every single patch, so you can always check out Icon City to put in all of the macros for you within this keyboard as well, which is pretty cool. So
yeah, and I'm a big fan of the Corsair peripherals. I've been using their mechanical keyboards for years. Replacing that 10 key with a Stream Deck that gives you the opportunity both for 2 separate dials, got a display screen there, as well as customizable keys on that 10 key. I mean, that's huge. I'm super jealous of it, and it's something that I'm gonna add to my streaming hardware pretty soon. So
yeah, we don't have I know we don't we're still working around some pricing for S7 because we have some unnamed ships that are not in the pricing yet, but we definitely have some some gift cards from Virpil for this year's pricing for the teams for System 7, and we also have some peripherals from Corsair. So we're hoping that we get things wrapped up as ships gets announced, and then we can go ahead and hopefully reveal the full pricing here in the next week or so by the next race. So but yeah, it's going to be an exciting season, and I know teams have been a little bit worrying about what they're fighting for, but of course, other than a trophy and your medals, there's going to be a lot more that you'll understand exactly what you're fighting for here shortly.
You know what? If it's a Benno Merchantman, I'm sold.
Man, that's like a bad word in Star Citizen's vocabulary, as I would say. So also Star Citizen, I think we're going to be at Level Up Expo next weekend. That's why I've been trying desperately to recover. I'll be there as well. So if you guys are at Level Up Expo, Star Citizen is going to be there at another event. So if you guys are there, please come check it out. I know there's a lot of people that are trying to drive in from close areas like, Salt Lake City, and trying to drive from California. So hope to see a lot of citizens there at Level Up. They're going to have a whole booth. I don't know what Star Citizen is going to be doing. So I'm excited for it.
Yep. So, yeah, moving on. We've got a great upcoming track with the heats here. The Deadman's Hook with the Origin X1 Velocity. We've seen some racers already with some ground vehicles, although, we talked about the STV, the Drake Mule. Those have been wheeled vehicles for our first two races. The RSI Lynx, which was in our qualifiers. We had the Mirai Pulse just barely in our 0G Alevsky Helix, but this is the first Gravlev vehicle we're going to see on the surface for the races this series so far. Any predictions, any favorites you've got?
Honestly, it's hard because the thing is that because it is going to be time based, I'm not sure who I want to root for, but I think that when it comes to the Nox, or I'm sorry, when it comes to the X1 or anything, I want to say I think Nomis is going to always do well. They do a great job at really bringing out the best situation of where they're at, and I think when it comes to Arena Commander, I think they will definitely take advantage of that. So I think Punch Nomis, I would say they're going to do well, but I think because we're in this scenario of like, I keep mentioning, right, where Levski, we're at all these other areas because of what's going on. I think that a lot of other teams as well that are in the lower standings are going to show off as well because they don't have any RNG to mess with them or they don't have any asteroids anywhere. So I think it's going to be a very good, interesting one, especially when it's all time based. So even if you're, in 14th place, all you got to do is just beat those times that you have coming up, and you'll be in that good spot to get into those winners finals or runner-up finals.
Yeah, and we've got some familiar names, some newer names. For Sire, we'll see Ricky Tiki, Gravity Cat from Amrox Fang, and Endermaster from Catcot for the Capcom for our first heat. Beyond that, that one guy from Team Tang, Jacoden from Punch Nomis, Amur from Premier Corps Colonial, and White Hawk from SPG Racing should be our heats. Heat C, we're going to see Travis John from Test Squadron, Dean Kakis from Warprom, Czech League from Delta Diatus Racing, and Prushbringer from Just Prush. And hopefully in Heat D, we'll see the AAWA Drunken Turtles with Mikado. Again, R/SC1 with Angry Chisel Racing for that team. Seraphi from Dune Riders, and Renlos from Renlos Racing.
Yep. Well, before we get started here, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back here as we figure out these heats and start racing here on race number 4, Deadman Hook.
We are ATMO Esports. We set the bar and cross the finish line. Being the absolute best isn't a gift. It's a lifestyle. Fueled by dedication, it is the ability to push past your breaking point, time and time again. That is why we're here. Join us in conquering the most unforgiving environments the verse has to offer. Unite under our banner to become what you were meant to be. Against all odds, stand victorious amongst the legends. Citizens from across the known systems, from all walks of life, across the criminal spectrum, the fiercest competitors will compete in the most remote locations. Only determination, your trusted craft, and luck can carry your team across the finish line in one piece. Become a champion. Or ride the sidelines to support your favorite team, cheering them to victory. Racing is in our blood. We are ATMO Esports. We're built for this. Are you? Visit atmo.gg to learn more.
System 7 2956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair, unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips. System 7 2956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair, unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips.
We are ATMO Esports. We set the bar and cross the finish line. Being the absolute best isn't a gift. It's a lifestyle. Fueled by dedication, it is the ability to push past your breaking point, time and time again. That is why we're here. Join us in conquering the most unforgiving environments the verse has to offer. Unite under our banner to become what you were meant to be. Against all odds, stand victorious amongst the legends. Citizens from across the known systems, from all walks of life, across the criminal spectrum, the fiercest competitors will compete in the most remote locations. Only determination, your trusted craft, and luck can carry your team across the finish line in one piece. Become a champion. Or ride the sidelines to support your favorite team, cheering them to victory. Racing is in our blood. We are ATMO Esports. We're built for this. Are you? Visit atmo.gg to learn more.
System 7 2956 is brought to you by Monster Tech. Transform your gaming experience with innovative, high-quality simulation equipment designed to enhance performance and immerse you in every virtual adventure. Pigeon Spaceport, bringing ships to life with beautifully crafted official Star Citizen model kits designed for fans, collectors, and pilots who want a piece of the verse on their desk. Verbal Controls, delivering precision-engineered flight simulation hardware that elevates your cockpit experience with unmatched realism and control. Corsair, unlock total command with the Galleon 100 keyboard, a high-performance keyboard with a built-in Stream Deck. From landing gear to engine shutdowns and custom macros, everything Star Citizen pilots need is right at their fingertips.
All righty, we're back here, and sorry for the wait, but we should have our race 4 heats beginning shortly. Just had a little bit of ordering issues, but I think we got all that fixed. But before we do that, we are going to jump into a little bit of the upcoming races and, of course, the schedule that is upcoming here for the System 7 2956.
Lots to look forward to.
Yes, there is, because we had to change out, I believe, race number 6, which is, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have a couple of, I know we had a long break in between race 1 and 2, going into 3 and 4. But I think I think the rest of the weeks are, I think they're somewhat back to back. So
All
it should be pretty
sequential.
interesting. Yep. So it's going to be a lot of racing throughout these next few weeks. This is going to be interesting because that leaderboard is going to go from zoom to zoom very, very quickly.
Yeah, coming up next week, April 25th, we're going to have Marshfire Ridge, race number 5. That's taking place on Pyro in Bloom. This is a 2-lap race with the Alpoa Nox, 224 meters per second in a 4x4 grid there. So very exciting. Bloom is one of those tracks that are those planets that is just so visually striking with the yellow there and the black rock. So, yeah, we've got multiple checkpoints here. A pretty long map, so only 2 laps out of this, but a very exciting time. Again, this is the starting race next Saturday, race number 5, Marshfire Ridge.
Yeah, this one is going to be exciting, not only because we're going to the Pyro system, we're going to the Lawless system, but this one also has one of the, the only pit lane within the series, which is going to be great. If teams need to, stop and fix their vehicles or do whatever they got to do, they're going to have a pit lane for this race specifically. So this one's going to be interesting, and they're going across, I think, like half of this race. You have not half, at least 1/3, you have some mountains, and then more than half of it is going to be going through like a swampland area, which is going to make it a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, and with the Alpoa Nox, obviously not exactly a high durability vehicle. Getting through those 2 laps, you'll have some folks that decide whether or not they want to risk it, just depending on how their performance looks. We've seen this in other races like the Daymar Rally, where vehicles can take a beating and potentially explode, leaving you behind, right? So want to make sure folks have the opportunity for that pit lane within that 2-lap race.
And one thing also about this whole area is that this is not a high populated area as well. So teams should have, I would say, decent performance going into this, where hopefully, I would say, hey, don't always risk it because you have the Alpoa Nox and you're just trying to get, go as fast as possible. But if you know the game well, if you know you're going to get desync by lowering your Alpoa Nox all the way to the floor, I would say try to find a good middle ground as you're practicing, and hopefully you can get between, those times that you want in those 2 laps as well. So it should be an interesting one.
And then moving into race number 6, the second one of the day, still staying in Pyro, but we're shifting over to Pyro 4. And this is the one with the biggest change. This is what used to be Jackson's Gauntlet, but is now Sakharin's Gauntlet. Because there was, as we mentioned last week with the racing on, I guess, 3 weeks ago, the terrain completely updated with the new update in 4.7. So having to do a bit of refiguring. But race number 6, Sakharin's Gauntlet, you see this. It is going to be a 2x2 grid, 5 laps held in the Persistent Universe. Heat-based race that will feature the Drake Mule, one we've seen already at the Dust Hustle. a very interesting, unique vehicle, and yeah, an interesting track here. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, this one's gonna be a excuse me, a lot of fun. We had to change it out from Jackson's Gauntlet because the previous patch completely discombobulated all of the mountains that were around Jackson's Gauntlet. So I wanted to give a big shout out to our teams for pointing that out to us. And then of course our staff kind of getting quickly going into the game and coming up with a new track. And this one looks incredibly fun. I'm not gonna lie to you, Red. This track looks like it's out of World of Warcraft because of the town you're going through. Like towards the end, it kind of has that Orgrimmar type of feel. Like if kind of But I think this track is gonna be I think a lot of fun to watch. You're on the Drake Mule as well. This is gonna be a heat-based race as well. And the fun part of this is that like once you go through the city, you're gonna be going up a hill. You're going to see that first checkpoint on the top left of the screen, and then once you start going up that hill after that first checkpoint, you're going downhill. So you need to be very wary and very careful taking that Drake Mule down that hill because it's an easy flip for you, and it will cost you some time to flip back over if you don't take that downhill in a I would say peaceful manner at this point. And then pretty much when you're coming back through, you're going back to that city. And the fun part of the city here, Red, is that it's very it's very narrow. So you don't have much room to overtake, but you have the rest of the map after you pass the city to hopefully overtake at that point. This is gonna be probably I think this has become one of my favorite maps. Aside from Deadman's Hook and all these other tracks that we brought in today. So this was a surprise.
Yeah, you're gonna test me on my World of Warcraft knowledge out there. I see something like this. I usually think Barrens, but I will say it's been a long time since I've played WoW. But yeah, definitely an interesting looking track. Going through a little town there, and of course with the map you see that Connie for scale. It's gonna be 5 laps in a kind of tight control area, but maintaining vehicle control is gonna be important because there is some elevation difference here. And some clearance. When you're trying to overtake somebody, you're going to have to be very cautious of that.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to be fun. But and then let's take a look at our overall schedule. So far, we have already, seen the qualifiers race 1 and 2 come by. We'll get this update as well, but we're currently in race 3, already finished earlier. And then we are now in race 4 to get these heats ready to go for Deadman's Hook, which and then I believe is going to be April. Oh no, it's
April 25th. April 25th is the correct date on there for races 5 and 6.
That's what I figured. I was like, wait, is that wrong? So yeah, it's April 25th. We'll get this all updated here shortly for you guys. But race 5 and 6, and then of course the finals we're going to have some fun back-to-back weeks here at the System 7 2956, which I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that final, of course, Volcano Lake, again in Pyro, on the Pharaoh moon of Pyro 5, with the Lynx and the Cyclone, a very unique track there.
Yep, and you have that Polaris Bridge that doesn't, I'm telling you, that Polaris Bridge does not, man. It's so fun to see how people are going to end up going through that Polaris Bridge. It's going to be very, very exciting. So with that being said, I think we have our views, and I believe we are ready to get our heat race number 1 underway.
All right, let's go take a look here within the Ellis system here.
It's going to be interesting here because I know our cams, you have the Nox, or I'm sorry, the X1 Velocity, which is, still fast. So I hope that our, the camera crew is ready to hopefully have people in different checkpoints or hopefully be able to chase. But this is going to be a fun race. I think Deadman's Hook, that race, it's going to be, I think this one's going to be interesting. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of like, this is like a glimpse of Marshfire Ridge in some way, but a little bit of that, red emberish, I would say domain that you're entering in Pyro.
Yeah. So this is again going to be featuring the Origin X1 Velocity with a top speed of 206 meters per second. Racers are expected to stay over the water for the entirety of the track. All this track is over water, and they're going to go through 3 laps to determine their placement. Best times put them in either the final or the runner-up heats within this track. So I'm excited. One thing I've loved about the Gravlev vehicles over the water is that spray they push back up into the air after they've passed over. I think CIG, the team, have done a great job with their water physics to make that look more believable, I would say, in the previous years. So.
All right. Well, here we go. I believe our teams are about to get ready, and we're about to get a countdown here shortly. So very excited for this one. It depends on, like I think there's, I believe, a bug this patch where if you hit land, you can kind of, gain a little bit more speed. So that's why it's a little bit wary about, not even being able to clip land. They're not supposed to. So let's see how these teams end up pushing this. But this is going to be a fun one. A quick 3 laps per heat here. So, and again, it's not about placements. It's about the timing. And some of these, if all these 3 teams put the top timing on the board, then what's going to happen is that we're going to end up seeing these 3 teams in the winners finals again. So, looking forward to it.
And again, another bonus point out there for the fastest lap time here. So obviously, trying to complete all 3 laps within a reasonable time frame, but aiming for at least one good best lap time would be a good opportunity for teams to get through. We see our support vehicles and our camera operators as they hover over. Definitely a few more pixels on the bikes that they're racing on. Race number 4 here in Deadman's Hook.
All right, we have our 3 teams that are going to be racing. We got Sky Racing Team. We got Ricky Tiki. We got for Amrock's Fang Racing, we got Gravity Cat. And then for Team Capcom, we got Endermaster in this first heat. I believe we're not going to be seeing Corota Racing race today, which is okay, not a problem. That's going to continue dropping them down the leaderboard. And let's see how this works out in this first initial heat. Anybody in, I know I can't see chat, but anybody you're rooting for, drop it in chat. Let's see who's gonna. Yeah. Again, it's not about placements. It's gonna be about times, but still, I think placements is gonna make it interesting. But they need to focus on getting that fastest time in order to get to that winners final, which is where everybody wants to be because you won those 25 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my hope is, obviously Ricky Tiki with Sire Racing Team is at the top. I want to see it shuffle up a little bit. I'm putting money on Gravity Cat or Endermaster. We'll see, and not to shade Ricky Tiki too much. They've been doing really, really well, but I think that would really drive some interesting positions with the leaderboard dynamics coming up into the last 3 races of this System 7 series.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. The thing is that you always want to see a shakeup, right? Because you never want to see a team take too much of a lead. You always want that story to, kind of evolve for any of these teams that, that are here racing during the System 7. So I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out, right? Doing the heats a little bit different this year. I just want to see if this is hopefully going to give a lot of these teams that are going to be racing that are not towards the top of the leaderboard to hopefully have that chance to get to that winner's circle, because this is a chance for it right now. This is a chance to gain those 25 points and knock some of these teams that are at the top, knock them down. So let's see.
Yeah, excited to see. And as you mentioned, 28 points between positions 1 and 2, right? Ricky Tiki with Sire Racing Team. It's his to lose right now. Bringing them set up. And looking at those, is that the default paint? I can't help but be a little bit disappointed. These guys know this is an exhibition, right?
I think it's AC. I'm not sure if you can change it. I believe. I know a lot of people. I'm not sure if you can change it in AC. I haven't tried, to be honest.
No, that is actually a good point. Good point there.
Yeah, because I would honestly say the same thing, Red. But like it is AC, and they got all the new skins, all the kitty skins that they just released recently in the I believe it was the I forgot what patches was or what event, but no, I can't blame him, especially in Arena Commander.
All right. So we'll see. We got names popping up: Ricky Tiki, Gravity Cat, and Endermaster. That is Sire Racing Team, Amrock's Fang, and Catcom for our first heat. This is going to determine Finals versus runner-ups based on overall lap time after 3 laps here. It's important they stay over the water, don't touch grass. Sounds like we got our countdown coming in, about 15 seconds to launch on Heat A.
All right, I'll give it that 5-second marker, and let's see if we can get even the stream delay on par. But we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heat 1, go! And I'm not sure. I was close a little bit.
Pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, you see the vapor trails coming in after that, and of course, obscuring a bit of the view there. Oh man,
what an initial turn here by Ricky Ticky! Wow, that was a beaming going through, and man, getting some great camera views here. But love seeing Ricky Ticky taking again, I would say an early lead in this heat. But I'm gonna continue reminding you guys at home that this is all about the time. So if Ricky Ticky has a pretty high time and Gravity Cat and Ender Master are right behind them, then a lot of people are going to understand what kind of timing they're going to be able to need to beat in order to kind of move on to the winners finals. So
and also boost management being a big issue here with some straightaways, seeing who's going to really let go and who's going to manage that a little bit more conservatively for better control.
Oh man, I couldn't say that of any better too. Boost management is important. I know when we did Enter Atmosphere 2956 in Australia, we did our first Gravlev race, and boost management was definitely super important going through here.
And yeah, the vapor trails coming off of those. Kind of getting a view of all three there. Still very competitive placements. Nobody's really, I mean, Ricky Ticky's a little bit ahead, but certainly not pulling away with it. Gravity Cat and Ender Master are going to make him honest. Keep him honest, make him earn it.
Here we go through that, through that slice of life that's out there, that little pimple that sticks out of the track. They're going to have to go through this and then swoop around that lonely island and then get back here. So this is that moment where you need to go. Here we go. Ricky Ticky doing a very good job at sticking, staying away from land, which is good.
Yeah. And a well-executed turnaround there. I think I saw someone call it the death fork in chat. Yeah, the little pimple.
The fork. I don't know why I call it a pimple. It just sticks out to me. That's all.
You know what? It's a kickstand. I think that makes the most sense. They go through the kickstand.
Well, remember the map is shaped like a hook. So how does a hook have a kickstand? So
yeah, that is true. The burr. We'll think about that through the next couple of heats. Maybe we'll get chat to chime in.
Call it the splinter. There you go. The splinter of the track. The splinter of the hook of the track. There you go.
Yeah, the hook and splinter. All right, 2 minutes 46 seconds for Ricky Ticky. 248 and 250 for Amrox Fang and Catcom. Less than 2 seconds separation between everybody, or between each team. So looking pretty competitive still.
And Ricky Ticky is absolutely booking it in this track, doing a great job at staying very close to those edges and not hitting that land. They want 0 penalties to be to be given here. So let's see how they ended up continuing on. But I feel like Ricky Ticky just is pretty far currently right now, compared to the others. And again, this is going to kind of set the pace for the rest of the teams and what timing they're going to need to get,
Yeah, knowing what you've got to earn in these initial heats. And Ricky Ticky, obviously very familiar with the track, knowing the lines to take. We saw during the splinter, he executed that turn pretty well. I think the other teams looked like they had a little bit of a hard time turning around. Again, that's about speed control, knowing when to let loose and when to hold back just enough to keep it competitive. We see, Ricky Ticky. I'm not sure how far behind the other racers are right now. So,
yeah, it looks like Gravity Cat is about 2 kilometers behind. So they're you see Ender Master a little bit as well behind Ricky Ticky here. So Ricky Ticky, man, not really taking no mercy on anybody during this heat race and time trial, man. This track is actually awesome. I like this track quite a lot. Here we go. Endermaster right behind, taking a wide turn. No.
Yeah, but you see,
Oh.
kind of overshot that turn. Ricky Ticky slowing down just enough and almost clips into Endermaster. That was probably a very close approach. And yeah, Gravity Cat there, still working on getting reoriented.
Yeah, I think what I like about this race so far is that you have the openness of the track, and then when you have that splinter, right, that is off the track is what's making them have to control themselves, because it's not going to be, you know, pedal to the metal the entire time, Red. That splinter is making them stop, slow down, and be able to control themselves before kind of going, you know, 100% again throughout the course, which is very, very interesting overall.
Yeah, Ricky Ticky from Sire Racing Team showing why they're in the leaderboard's first position right now. Definitely executing well on this run. And yeah, just saw a very, very well executed turn on that splinter.
Here we go. Last lap for each of these teams here going into it. And let's see what kind of time Ricky Ticky is going to set here going into these next few heats. And this is where teams are going to have to, you know, pay attention. But, you know, again, this is where you want to be using that boost, man. Just fly through it as much as you can to get to these straights and corners. I like how it's raining. So they're getting splashed on during that whole race segment. Is awesome.
The vehicle is definitely kicking up some vapor there, causing some views. You know, some obscured views from the our camera crew. We see B graphics here, getting the windshield effect. Just behind Endermaster, Ricky Ticky's up ahead. Gravity Cat behind them, but yeah, Ricky Ticky is coming ahead with it.
Yeah, I wonder what made Endermaster take that turn. Maybe he was coming in too fast. And just wasn't able to get that sharp turn on Ricky Ticky, but I felt like that kind of lost him a you know, pretty sizable lead there, because he was just right behind them.
Yeah, definitely you know, a missed execution there, which is costly here. And obviously, if you're watching and you're coming up on the next couple of races, if you're in one of these upcoming heats, you really need to execute that turn on that splinter well. Bring it down a little bit. You can't go full throttle through that. Otherwise, you'll end up losing your line and suffering for it.
There we go. Right back out, man. Loving that X1 velocity. Just zoom in. Ricky Ticky almost completing this last lap. It's looking like we're going to be around that 8-minute mark. But let's see here. Still has a little bit of, I believe, 1/4 of the track to go here. And man, this race has been pretty exciting, man. I'm loving Arena Command. We definitely need to get more of these races in the future for sure.
Yeah, and great views here with the vapor trail coming off the X1 velocity. Couple of racers behind. I know we've got some great views coming in from our camera operators as well. And there it is, Ricky Ticky, fastest lap, 2 minutes 36 seconds. Gotta feel good about that. We've got Gravity Cat coming up next. Endermaster, 2 minutes 40 seconds. So second place for Endermaster. And Gravity Cat here, still for Amrock's Fang, working on that final turn.
And great job by all teams. And, you know, like I said, these, you know, this is in the current standing. This is theme 1 through 4. Of course, Corona Racing not in that mix right now, but these are those top 4 teams that just showed out here and put on a great, incredible effort. So now we're going into heat number 2, and you have these other teams that are going to have to, you know, kind of understand where they're going to be landing here shortly with the time trials. So now, one thing I will say is that, you know, fastest lap is the points are going to go to the overall fastest lap. So even if you have a slower time and have a fastest lap, that point goes to that team. But overall, pretty well done.
Yeah, Ricky Ticky putting in 2 minutes and 36 seconds for the fastest lap there. 8 minutes, 3 seconds total. That's going to be the one to beat, but they've got to feel really good about their positioning right now. And of course, we've got 3 heats left to determine the runners-up and the finale, but Ricky Ticky feeling good. I would say all 3 really had a solid performance. We didn't see any, we saw a slight issue there from Gravity Cat, missing one of the turns. And that put them behind. But overall, they recovered well. And I think the remaining teams, it's going to be key to really dial your speed down as you go through that splinter, making sure that you make that tight turn appropriately. Don't overshoot it because, yeah, that could incur penalties if you end up over the grass. And, just losing time for the momentum shift as you come back and try and reorient yourself.
Yep, and upcoming here in our next heat is going to be Team Tang, Team Punch Nomies, Premier Corps Colonial, and then, of course, SPG Racing, who is currently in the leaderboard from 4th place all the way down to 8th place. So excited to see these teams are going to be going head-to-head. One to look here is going to be, of course, Punch Nomies, depending. I believe it's going to be Jacketin Racing. Jacketin, an incredible, he knows very well Gravlev vehicles. If you haven't checked them out on YouTube, please do so. Has a lot of great content around Gravlev and and racing within the Nox or all of these different Gravlev vehicles and having the different stats. Very, very good informational content there. So that's going to be one team to look at here, Red.
Yeah. So we got that one guy from Team Tang, Jack Odin from Punch Nomies, Amur from Premier Corps Colonial, and White Hawk from SPG Racing that are getting lined up, trying to go for Heat B to set their times. And yeah, Jack Odin from Punch Nomies, they're hungry today. They've seen the most significant shift up in their leaderboard placements. And yeah, they definitely want to see where they're going to land in relation to Sire Racing. So we'll see what
I need ICC. I need you guys to get back up there. Okay, you guys were in 3rd after race 1 and 2, and you guys, are, obviously race 3. It's okay. You guys can still make it back up. So want to see ICC back up there. They have some great camaraderie, and when they won the Daymar Rally, they were super happy of all the work they put in. So not trying to get favorites, but I want them to do well. So shout outs to them. So. But yeah, let's take a look at some of our replays here from the last race.
Yeah, right off the bat with Ricky Ticky, Endermaster, and Gravity Cat, all 3 neck and neck at the start. That was great.
Yeah, I wonder if in that moment that they slowed down a little bit there, and you saw both Gravity and Endermaster kind of had the wider of a turn there for, in that splinter, as we call it, but definitely a great race overall, man. I love seeing the beginning where they all take that turn, and maybe they maybe some slowed down to not cause any DNFs, but overall, man, what a race. This was a great race.
Yeah, and you see that Ricky Ticky executing that splinter turn 3 out of 3 times flawlessly. We saw Endermaster there. And Gravity Cat both get hung up on the first time. That created the separation. Endermaster running a little bit better on the second run. And you gotta love this windshield effect.
Yeah, good timing overall. And again, 8 minute 3 seconds, 8 minute 31 seconds, for Gravity Cat, and right in between you got Endermaster. So I think teams should know very well where they need to be. Especially if they've been practicing. So 8 minutes for the 3 laps, not bad at all. So, you can aim for, you can aim to get the fastest lap and total time at the same time to not only get you to that winner's finals, but, also get you to get that extra point as well.
Yeah. And we're looking at Heat B. They are lined up on the starting line here. We've got that one guy, 21, Jacodin, Amur from Premier Corps Colonial, Jacodin, of course, from Punch Nomies. And do we see White Hawk for SPG Racing? Maybe that's Slum Cage. Getting all lined up.
All right, looks like the teams are ready to go in about 15 seconds here. We're going to give you guys a countdown, and we're going to wish heat number 2 the best of luck here. It's going to be another interesting race here during race number 4, Deadman's Hook. And I'm going to give it a little bit 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. You're from Premier Court Colonial, Jacoden. Oh, Slumpkin sitting a little slow to start. Jacoden coming up. And pulling ahead early.
Yeah, I think Jacket in here, he's one you're going to keep your eyes on those lines, and this is where the practice comes in. But I know with other tracks that have been done in Winter Circle, you're going to see Jacket doing a good job at trying to maximize their time as much as possible in this track.
Oh yeah.
So let's see how that lap number 1, because now that we have a set time, Red, they're going to be in their heads, oh, if I don't pick up the pace at this point, I'm not going to hit this 8-minute and 3-second time frame, and to jump into that Winner Circle. So let's see what happens here.
Yeah, and of course, 2 minutes 30 or 2 minutes 36, the current fastest lap to hit. Jack Oden looks like going to be on a pretty good run for it. Muir from Premier Court Colonial also coming in shortly behind. Slum sitting in for Team Tang, that one guy you know.
Amir doing a good job. He's not too far behind from Jacketin either, so doing a good job at keeping pace. Maybe trying to maybe see that line and how to improve for second and third race. But remember, when you're leading, you always get a little bit of pressure. Not saying that Jacketin gets pressured easily, but I think that for some people, normally when they're leading the person behind you, you're always thinking about them at that point. So that's where that pressure comes in.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the forced error that you're in control, but you've got to execute perfectly. They just have to wait for you to mess up a little bit. We'll see how they run this. All three coming through the splinter turn. Jacoden, I think executed pretty well. I want to say Amur, as we watch them both come out, man, look at that.
No, shout out to the camera team.
Pretty
Those were some awesome views coming out that splinter there. And it looks like both Amir and Jacketin are pretty close, but let's see. I think I think that first lap is kind of I hate saying the slow end, but not as up to par as the other teams right now. We're gonna
definitely
see.
Looking at it, yeah. Oh, Slum with a DNF. Looks like might have had some type of collision. So we've got the two. Team Tang. Yeah. Punch dummies 244. So Jacoden not quite getting up 236. That puts him in, third place, a little bit faster than Amarok's Fang, but Endermaster and Ricky Tiki have beat that so far. Right.
Yeah, just now is when you need to kind of pick up the pace a little bit here. But yeah, that's tough for Team Tang. Unfortunately, that being DNF here won't get you moved up into the other into the winners finals or runner-up finals. So that's a tough one. But again, like any of the other teams that are upcoming right now, Red, can move up into any of these first through 4 spots, no matter what. That's not solidified yet. So yeah. Let's see how Jacketin continues to do if he can pick up the pace here in this lap number 2 and 3.
And Amur right there from Premier Court Colonial, definitely bringing in some heat, bringing that pressure, making sure Jacoden doesn't just rest on it, not let him get the rhythm, a little bit of getting in his head to make sure that he knows, we're right on his heels.
And looking at B Graphic, able to keep up with Jacketin right now and keep the camera going. It's a beautiful sight to see here in Winter Circle, man. I can watch racing like this all day long, to be honest. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Great looking views as we're coming through here. Yeah, and our support vehicles back and forth. We'll see how they can run this splinter. Jacoden and B Graphics coming in. Jacoden and Muir.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give it. I think this track was put together by Corsair. I mean, a lot of us picked the location together, but I think he was the one that kind of designed that splinter off to the end. So very, very good job on putting this track together. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. We were coming in a little slower this time, not quite as hot on the trail, but looked like they both executed well. I would say not perfectly. There was a little bit of slowness as they came through, but neither one overshot. So some respectable times we should expect to see.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Like when we talk about timing pressure, is like you already know in your head what Ricky Ticky and teams like Capcom already accomplished, and you have that pressure to kind of put out that amount of progress as well within your lap times. But Punch Nomi is doing pretty good at 5:21 so far. That means they have a good, if they can do another, I think 2 minutes and 36 seconds in there and get a fast lap time, that's going to put them right there at that 8 minute and maybe 4 minute 4 second marker. So they need to get put that time in and get their fastest lap in this lap number 3 if they want to get to that 8:03 or close.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned 2 minutes 36 seconds that they need. That is exactly what Ricky Ticky put down for his fastest lap time to get that 8:03. So it could happen. It's not unheard of if Jekiden keeps a good line here. That is very possible. Obviously, Ricky Ticky, we saw definitely executing the maneuver at that spur, the splinter area. That could be the big difference. But yeah, Jekiden from Team Punch Dummies definitely has some pressure to make that happen. So.
Well, think about it. A lot of these teams are going to get placed together in that winners finals and that runner-ups finals. So we're still going to get to see some of these teams that are tight and racing very close like that. It's we're going to see that again later on. So that's that has me a little bit of excited here because man, these teams are just zooming, man. Yeah, we're just going to do winner circles for the rest of the season. This is great. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great look here. And we see Jekiden coming in for the splinter. Watch as they get executed around here.
And again, this is the part where, it takes up, I think it's taken up a lot of people's time, is where you have to slow it down. He slowed down a lot more than he should. Needs to be careful with Amur. He knows that Amur is behind him. So that awareness is very good for Jekiden. But I felt like Ricky Ticky was definitely doing a good job at really taking that turn at just, pedal to the metal here. But let's see how Jekiden can do and make up, if he can make these, make up the rest of the track here within that 30-second time frame now. So he needs to book it here. This is where he's going to be able to see if he can put that time on the board. And that's the finish line is right there. It's not too far away.
8:03 is the one to hit. We're coming up on it. It's going to be very, very close. We'll see what Jekiden can do. But as we saw, there was almost a complete loss of momentum at the end of that spur. So my bet will be really close. 8:01 at 2:36. So fastest lap. Oh, I bet you that beat it by 0.007.
Wow.
For the fastest lap time. So 1 and 2 for Premier Corps Colonial. I guess third place for the fastest lap at 2:39.32.
Hey, I take it back. All right. He probably did know very well when to use the boost in some of these moments. Jekiden did a great job there hitting that 8:01. Wow. And that 2:36, it was they were pretty 2:36.9. And the other one was
2:36.910 versus 2:36.917.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, photo finish on that, but Jekiden gets the credit for fastest lap by 0.007 seconds so far. The razor thin margins. I thought for sure it would have been a little bit worse, but the execution did happen there. So looking really great. Now we're heading into Heat 3. We've got some great numbers already so far. Punch Dummies at 8:01, Premier Corps Colonial at 8:10. So that puts them competitive, but at 8:13, Catcom and Endermaster, they're still pretty close. We'll see what the rest of the teams are able to put in.
Yeah, this is gonna be really, really good. Up next, we got our heat number 3. We got Test Squadron, Warprum, Delta Diet is racing, and Just Crush. By the way, I know Brushbringer. I know he likes to drive. If I'm not mistaken, maybe that was his other teammate. I know Brushbringer probably can push the grav lifts to the limit. I know you got Czech League for Delta Dietis. I think Czech League for Delta Dietis. I think this is their moment here. I think this is a good track for him to show off as much as possible and get that speed that I know he can get, and hopefully come up with a good timing. But I was thinking Jacketing was going a little bit slow, but hey, I was wrong on that one. He definitely knew where to use the boost to its maximum potential, and hey, 801. So best track time so far is 801 by Jacketing.
Yeah, the razor thin margins there for the fastest time. I'm putting the numbers in there, and yeah, 0.007, so ridiculous to be that close on top of everything. Jacketing says, I think I was going a bit too slow. So yeah, pretty great performance so far. As you mentioned, Heat C, we've got Test Squadron with Travis John 82, who's the backup for Renee. Warp Rom with Dean Kakis. We've seen Dean out there each race so far. Czech League from Delta Dietis, and then Prushbringer from Just Prush. Let's see what chat says. Who's your favorites today? We got Test Squadron, Delta Dietis, Just Prush, or Warp Rom. Talk about your favorites out there, and do we think we're going to get anybody that's going to be able to beat that fastest lap? I'd love to see some replays of that Heat B.
All right. With that being said, let's there we go. Oh, we didn't get the beginning there, but that beginning is always I think some of my funnest parts there. That beginning is always really, really fun. Sorry to get Slum and Team Tang, go out like that. I know that's something that they've been trying to keep up, and I think Team Tang in race number 3 did a fantastic job in putting a good placement there. And getting some points on the board, but it's unfortunate to see him go out in this race number 4 like that here, Red.
Yeah, it is unfortunate, but they're fielding a team, they're getting some points. They'll have opportunities in the future to match that up, and other teams might come in with a DNF that could be earlier or later, just sorting out where they get their points positioned at below. So excited for Heat C. We got some good teams, some competitive numbers already, shaking up the leaderboard. So we know pretty much we'll see Jacketing up in the final heat. And at least that's my expectation. Crazier things could happen, but Jacketing and Ricky Tiki both having really great execution so far. 2 of the favorites at the top.
Hey, don't count people out yet, man. I feel like anybody currently and on the rest of the leaderboard can knock anybody out at this point. Like I said, just putting in the practice, it should be fine. We're looking forward to it. And yes, you're thinking about it the same thing. We'll make sure our production gets better replays for this next race, because those last replays were not up to par from the first heat, guys. All right.
Yeah.
So,
better replays. That I gotta say, the subpar work there on the camera. I'm just kidding. They've done fantastic. I'd love to be able to see the that spur as they make that corner, making sure that we can the teams that are coming in now, what speed they want to hit it versus going full throttle or bringing it back to 60%, 70%, something where they don't overshoot it. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think showing kind of like what Jacketing did in this last race, where that first lap was like a 240. He made up a lot of time in lap 2 and 3. Still got an 801. Still could have probably pushed it more. I think it's just going to be about how they manage that boost, whether they're doing it in the straights, whether they're doing it after the splinter. I think that's what it's going to vary here. And if he said he could have got a fastest time, that would have been more impressive. But for right now, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of kind of tight squeeze in between. I think the rest of the other teams right now. And I hope that, teams like ICC that 8 minutes and 10 seconds can hold, but I think there's still a lot of good teams to go and a lot of good people that know how to race. And again, we're not in the PU. There's no desync, there's no load. I think people are being able to rest to the best of their ability right now, which is great.
Yeah, and yeah, we've got our kind of tentative racers right now. The way it's looking after 2 heats is Punch Nomies is in the lead with Jacket in at 8 minutes 1 second. Fastest lap time of 2 minutes 36 seconds .910. Sire Racing with Ricky Tiki from Heat A is in second place with 8 minutes 3 seconds. So 2.3 seconds separating their total lap time, but 0.007 seconds separating their fastest lap right now. I've got to say, seeing Jacketin and Ricky Tiki have this kind of grudge match in the final would be a great story, because 0.007 seconds, like, I dare you to repeat that, right? I expect that to be a very, very close, very competitive race. Coming up in third place is Premier Corps Colonial. Amur coming in with 8 minutes 10 seconds, so 6.5-ish seconds behind second place. Fastest lap time there was 2 minutes 39 seconds, so really only about 3 seconds different within the first verses. And we did see Amur going through and having a little bit of a hard time on that spur. If Amur comes into the final heat, I expect to see that clean up a little bit more. That 2 minutes 36 seconds lap time, I think comes down, or 2 minutes 39, I think comes down to 2:37, maybe 2:36 if they can get in there. So, beyond that, Endermaster from Catcom at 8 minutes 13, and Amarok's Fang at 8 minutes 31. So, yeah, coming in, probably getting into the runner-ups, depending on how performance goes the next little bit.
Yeah, it should be super fun. We're getting our next lobby up, and I believe, as I mentioned earlier, we have Team Test Squadron, who is racing for Test Squadron? Sorry, I gotta go find it really quickly. We got
Test?
Renee, I believe.
I think it's Travis John, backup for Renee. So
okay, Travis John is gonna be racing for Test Squadron. We got Warprum, who is gonna be Dean Kakas, and then we have Delta Dietis Racing, which we got Checkly. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm rooting for you in this one. I want them to cook. I want to see Delta Dietis Racing back on top like they should be. I think they're a great team. Space Tech, all great people there. So excited to see them come up. And then we got Team Just Press, which is just Pushbringer, one of our Hurston Hurtlocker champions, if I'm not mistaken, who is going to be racing here. This is going to be your heat number 3, which is exciting.
Okay. Yeah, they're double checking on who's racing for Test Squadron. Renee might be here, but we did have noted that Travis John was the backup there in case there was any type of scheduling conflict. Obviously, things happen, but we're glad to have the racers fielded that are out there. This has been just, I would say, it's shaping up to be a very competitive race number 4 here at Deadman's Hook. That X1 velocity looking really great over the water here. And yeah, they did confirm Renee is actually going to be racing for us today. So racing for Test Squadron. So
nice. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. Looking forward to seeing Renee, definitely a great racer. I think they got third I think Test Squadron got third in the Daymar Rally. So, testing their racing here. Love seeing Test Squadron get more involved in races as well. Already took a podium in the rally, so hopefully trying to take another podium in System 7. I think System 7 is definitely a lot more competitive overall, very, very competitive. It's just that, when we start going and, making tracks in the PU, which is what we want to do, it starts to kind of eliminate, we already know it eliminates a little bit of those, I would say, chances of RNG and things like that, but still it's a bit tough. But I don't know, man. We should just System 7 fully in AC is probably what we're gonna hopefully end up with in the future, just so people can race to the best of their ability. Because when seeing people like this untapped where they can just race, it's so fun to watch. So fun to watch.
Yeah. And with dynamic server meshing, other server performance factors that go hopefully bridge that gap between Arena Commander performance and Persistent Universe. But understanding the additional complexities that are involved with a live service game like that, and really having kind of the additional chaotic factors that happen in a Persistent Universe. Somebody's out there mining, and all of a sudden they have a whole bunch of little gemstones popping around. That could be something that bring server performance down. But Arena Commander doesn't have that. So.
Oh, well, here we go. We're just waiting for our next lobby to launch, and we should get that going. Let's go back to the schedule real quick for those of you guys that are popping in for the first time and enjoying race number 4, Deadman's Hook here during the System 7 2956. Just remember, next week we have race 5 and 6 coming into play. We have both Marshfire Ridge and I forgot the other.
Saccharin's Gauntlet now.
Saccharin's Gauntlet. Yes. Thank you so much for that. And then, of course, 2 weeks from now, we have the finals, which is going to be Volcano Lake, which we are going to be crowning our champion during the finals, a few days after. So looking forward to seeing who's going to be, the team that comes out on top here during this year's System 7. I think it's been, I know it says welcome to Nick's edition. We did do a left ski race. So that's all we can get for this year, unfortunately. So, but we definitely want to try different things out, Red, and try once we get Genesis and all these other kind of terrain changes. I think we're definitely going to see some more improvement on a lot of these races in the future. So,
yeah, and as you mentioned, we had the Levski Helix we started off with earlier today. Pretty heavy DNF toll there. Several racers, I think five teams crashed during some course of the race and ended up not being able to finish. But yeah, a very interesting, one of the few places within within the Nick system we've got access to right now. Hopefully, as that system matures, more locations are released and we have an opportunity to do more with that. I'd love to, and I know it's still pretty early, but I'd love to be able to see what a race might look like around something like the QV Breaker mission stations. But obviously there's some logistics around that. Those aren't exactly publicized locations, but
yes,
a very interesting and unique bit of geometry. And then I'd love to. We're coming up on this is the kind of partway through race 4. Next Saturday we're gonna have the Marshfire Ridge and Saccharin's Gauntlet. So tune in for that double race day. And then the final is going to happen on Saturday, May 2nd, which is the Volcano Lake in Fyro. Now, you mentioned the Polaris Bridge. Let's take a look at this map because this has been one of the favorites of mine. You start off here on the kind of southern corner and really hug this lake here on the Pyro system, Pharaoh, the Pyro 5 moon. You've got this lake that the entire track wraps around. And you've got an opportunity there to switch between the RSI Lynx and the Tumbrel Cyclone RC. Your top speeds on those are about 37 meters a second. And I will say, it is a very long, very extensive map. We saw this last year with quite a lot of interesting things happening. Both race dynamics, trying to hug that lake edge for the majority of the track. And then the Polaris Bridge in the middle there, different teams taking different approaches. You're excited about this. Can you talk about what some of the approaches we saw last year were and what you're excited to see this year with maybe changes to tractor beams and some of the dynamics getting across that Polaris Bridge section?
Yeah, actually, I don't think tractor beams are going to be allowed. Don't quote me on this, though. I think tractor beams are not to be allowed once again. So I don't think that they're going to be able to use that going across the Polaris Bridge this time around. So they're just going to have to, drive through it as much as possible. I think that this time also, the Polaris Bridge, the water is a little bit closer to the land, so they won't have to dunk half their vehicle to get to the bridge. So that way they're a little bit more careful. So, to my remembrance, I believe if you're underwater in the game, you still kills you. So that's something that we definitely want to avoid currently.
Yeah, and of course, that area where the Polaris Bridge is at is kind of this peninsula with a bunch of spotted lakes, a few narrow passageways through, and then at that checkpoint too, that's just after the bridge, you actually have to go back further north and around there. So we saw a couple of teams get disoriented last year. One of them actually almost a checkpoint too, ended up all the way back at the Polaris Bridge before they realized they'd gotten turned around in the wrong direction. So it's important to manage that, make sure you know where you're going. And are they going to be allowed to have a second, kind of a spotter in the vehicle with them this year?
That's a very good question. I think like in previous years, other people in your vehicle for the finals, depending, like we did the Hurston, the Lorville loop, I believe is what we had called it. Sometimes you can have a second person, but remember, the way that the game works is that if that second person is, like, let's say in a different ping or different country, it kind of goes against you. So I don't, and you start to desync a lot more often. So I would highly suggest no, so that way you can have a proper race. But I mean, I think it just depends on the rules of that race specifically. But I think for race 7, I think you are allowed to have someone in the vehicle with you, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. So just getting some updates on Heat 3 and 4 for our current race here at Deadman's Hook. So yeah, that hook off of the main racetrack has been one that we've seen some real difference makers for their overall lap times. Getting updates that Renee is going to be racing for Test Squadron in Heat 4. For Drunken Turtle, we're going to see Kratagos racing for Macrado, who couldn't make it for the earlier race today. They did get a backup fielded for a race at number 4.
Yeah, well, with that being said, just a reminder that Gravity Rush signups are opening hopefully next week. I think we're currently working on that right now. So if you guys think you are an incredible ship racer and you want a chance to win some Virpol Constellation Alphas for first place, make sure you guys sign up for that. All you got to do is head on over to scr.gg when signups are open. Sign up and then go and get your first time trial into, I believe, is going to be Lorville Outskirts this year. So that's going to be the time trials for this year. So let's take a look at Gravity Rush. All right, and we are back here for heat number 3, which is, we're going to continue with some of these incredible races and even some of these trials to see who's going to be in our winners finals and our runner-up finals here in today's race number 4, Deadman's Hook.
Yeah, and they've got some impressive times that they need to try and beat. Right now, the cutoff for the final heat is 8 minutes, 13 seconds, 0.6. Catcom Endermaster is right on the bubble right now. So hoping that those that are coming in are going to hang on for that. Obviously, 8 minutes, 1 second, 8 minutes, 3 seconds, 8 minutes, 10 seconds are your first, second, and third place. So some room to shuffle in there. Based on the numbers we saw, 2 minutes, 36 seconds for the fastest lap. There's going to be a lot of competition there. Let's see what we can get through our Heat 3, featuring Test Squadron with Renee driving for them, Dean Kakis driving for Team Warprom, Czech League driving for Delta Diatus Racing, and Prushbringer for Team Just Prush.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is that the last 2 heats, you've had people racing, with just 3 people. Now you have 4. So I would say that for these next 2 heats that have 4 racers, people do have to be a little bit more careful that first return, especially, as you're, the leader in the leaderboard will get that first right turn. Just need to be careful because at that point, you guys do not want to jump into each other and then unfortunately end your race right there. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate. So I would say take pace here and take your time because that way you guys are able to kind of manage and make up those laps, kind of what Jacketin did, especially if you know how to manage your boost well during this track. So I would say, in the beginning, let people pace themselves out because you definitely don't want to go out like that as soon as the race has just begun.
Yeah. And yeah, some great boost management we saw. That's going to be one of the key strategies here. Racers within that spur, obviously the splinter area, you're going to have a little bit more traffic back and forth. A little bit of separation is actually more dangerous since you're going to likely have a chance to run into each other. Got the 20-second countdown. Looking like it's good to go. I love to see the ships kind of bouncing up and down. They seem excited about this. I'll give us the countdown from 5. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We see Renee, Dean Kakis, Czech Leak, and Prushbringer as they are on their way out. Oh no, I think Dean went right side on the wrong track and just full sent that right into the wall, right into the trees there.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough moment. I think Dean Kakis went on the wrong side of that track. But remember, when you're starting off in this track, you're always going to have your islands on that left side every single time. So that's always a good rule to kind of run by when you're racing in Deadman's Hook. Everything when you start off on that left side, everything is always going to be on a left to right turn. Especially when you're going into that splinter. So that way, it's a good rule to not forget.
Yeah, Dean Cake is confirmed there. DNF. He was trying to make his best Paul Walker impression, and he did a pretty good job there. Czech Leak and Prushbringer there, coming up at the front. We've got Renee coming in behind.
Man, why
pressure right on top of each other?
You're gonna have me crying, man. Why you got to talk about Paul Walker like that? Damn, that's savage. That's so savage, man. Come on, don't do us like that. I'm a big Fast and Furious fan.
All right, I'm sorry. I was just thinking opportunities there. So
I'm gonna have to go on a forgiveness tour and watch all the movies to ask for forgiveness at that point.
Czech Leak and Prushbringer, they're coming through the spur. We'll see who can make that. Czech Leak looks like he was able to execute a little bit smoother. Oh, wonderful camera angle here as they make that turn. Renee, a little overshooting, but recovering. Czech Leak getting a big, kind of early start.
Yeah, this is, again, man, like I think Czech Leak does very, very well. And this is the time to shine, right? There's nothing kind of holding anybody back here. He has a pretty nice lead here. And all he has to do is just continue pushing to the metal. I think he's on par with around the same lap time as around that 236, 238 right now. Very, very close to the other teams. So all he has to do is concentrate on these next 2 laps that are coming up, and they should be in a good position here. So, a little bit higher, but now he doesn't have to worry about bumping into anybody right now that he has a good lead. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, and Czech Leak with 249 for Prush, 252 for Renee. Yeah. Heading on in, Czech Leak at the front for Delta Diatus Racing. Waved at Dean's corpse after that first corner.
All right, next season of System 7 is going to be System 7 Too Fast, Too Furious. in honor.
You've got to have some corny tagline to it. Yeah, but
oh man,
hopefully I'm considered part of the ATMO family there because it's all about family. Yeah.
Yeah, we got you, man. We got you, right?
Czech Leak looking great on these.
Yeah, doing a great job here. He needs to pick up the pace just a little bit. He's Czech Leak right now, just a few seconds behind, but definitely looking a lot smoother here going into lap number 2. And man, just doing a good job at trying to push it as much as possible. And just zooming through, man, doing a great job. So Good job to both Josh Prush and, of course, Renee from Test Squadron. Everybody's kind of really just keeping up, and they just have to be careful in that splinter.
I actually am also impressed. You see the number of camera vehicles running around. How many of those have had close calls, but no collisions so far today. We haven't lost a camera operator yet. Checkly executing that turn pretty well. Oh, it sounds like we have lost 2 camera operators behind the scenes. So Check Leak making that corner again. Pressbringer and Renee both a little overshooting. You come down pretty aggressively there. And that's we saw some big differences in the early race runs there.
Yeah, that's definitely a sharp turn. And I'm going to continue saying that the design of how the track was made, that sharp turn is doing a good job at kind of slowing people down and kind of, giving them a challenge, because this is not just going to be pedal to the metal the entire time. So that was definitely a good addition here. So let's see what kind of times Check League can continue pushing here, but this is looking pretty good for him right now.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it is a great skill check partway through the track to have that type of a run. We're at 5 minutes 28 seconds for Delta Diatus. Check League coming in 5:28, 5:34, and 5:36. So at 5:28, we're looking a little tight. Not sure if they're going to be able to completely bring that in. There could be a 3rd or 4th place possibly if Check League is able to keep this pace, run a smooth track. And we saw, going off of that splinter, well executed, multiple times. We'll get that 3rd one, hopefully, be able to execute it just as well.
Yeah, at this point, I was just gonna ask CIG, can we just get some jet skis, please, or something? Because man, that'd be great to race some jet skis in Winter Circle right now. That'll be awesome.
Get some good speed boats.
Yeah, I mean, it's a space game, so I mean, the 890 the 890J won't fit in the water.
Yeah, I will say one of the I don't go to many in-person racing events, but one of the favorites I was able to watch was speedboats off the Florida coast, like the Panhandle. There was a big event that had these massively overpowered, just speedboats. They had helicopters flying behind them. It definitely reminds me of that type of scenario. But that was probably 20 years ago now. Great views we're seeing here as Check Leak is up in front. I was watching for names there, and all of a sudden the camera froze. Check Leak coming in for that final splinter turn.
There you go. He needs to get out of here by at least 7:30 here. But pacing himself very, very well. Do not crash here into Pressbringer, doing a good job. Yep, 7:30 out the door right there, and he has 30 seconds to hopefully get to that finish line, which this is around where it took. This is right where Jacketin was. So if he has enough boost, he has a chance to hit maybe a sub 8 minute or just around that 8:03 mark as well. So let's see if Check Leak can pull this off for himself and his team, because they need this moment for themselves to get that confidence up.
And Pressbringer and Renee very close behind. So, I'm watching here, this is Check Leak coming in for that last turnaround into the final. And there we go, 8 minutes, 8 seconds, 2:39.26 for the fastest lap. So, probably puts himself in 3rd place for the fastest lap there. And 8 minutes, 8 seconds, that is also 3rd place. So, 3rd and 3rd for Check Leak. Renee, Test Squadron, feeling pretty good about that as well. 2 minutes, 41 seconds, fastest lap. Renee actually, 2nd lap to 3rd lap, had one of the best turnarounds there. 2 minutes, 41 seconds. Now, not the top fastest lap, but did have, the top 3, top 4-ish. So,
no, that was absolutely great job there by Check Leak, putting in that great time, and that puts him not too far off. That puts him right there in that 3rd place spot for that winner's final race. So and when it comes down to that winner's final race, that's where placement matters, right? It doesn't matter if timing or anything. For that last one, that's where you want to be, you know, at the top to win, because at that point, that's where you guys are going to be fighting for points. So.
Yeah, and that obviously 4 racers to start. Dean immediately coming in. I don't know if that was a control failure or what happened there, but right in through the island there, and right off the bat, just getting eliminated, which was unfortunate. The remaining teams, 2 minutes 39 seconds for their fastest lap. Looked pretty good. 8 minutes 8 seconds. I think they got to feel pretty good about where things are at.
Yeah, I think I think that right now, you know, Delta Dinas should be feeling really good right now. That is a very, very good time there. And I thought that, you know, I thought obviously you still got Sky Racing team with that 803. I thought they came in and blasted it, but a lot of teams are not going to be too far from that. So like once they come out of that splint, or on that, I would say 7:25 second or 7:30. Maybe towards the end right there, I felt like maybe Czech League had already used a lot of his boost, but so that management is going to be super important. But man, what a definitely good timings from a lot of these teams. So let's see what happens, because like anybody at this point could land in that winners in that runners up final, because we still have one more entire heat to go. All these guys could just come in and put in their best times, and then it's over for some of these guys that are at the top.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Andrew Master from Catcom has to be feeling pretty crappy right now. They get nudged out of the final into the runners-up with their 8 minutes 13 seconds. So some good performance there from Delta Diatis. And yeah, we've got Sire Racing, Premier Corps Colonial, Delta Diatis, and Punch Dummies that are the current contenders for the final round. We'll see in Heat 4 who's able to come through if they're able to put up additional times. You know, we mentioned they're sorted by overall leaderboard rank. So these are technically the 4 furthest behind teams. But that's not to say that they're not competitive either. We've seen a lot of teams get eliminated for other random issues, you know, some uncooperative tracks that have caused some issues for people. It's anybody's race. And, you know, again, a different racing style than what we've seen before. It's going to be very competitive. And hopefully... you know, we'll see a little bit of a shakeup. I know Amur with Premier Corps Colonial is right on the bubble right now with the finale. They're going to be rooting for some folks this next heat, trying to keep themselves in the final. And then, of course, the runner-up. Everyone who's finished so far is still in there. But yeah, we got one more race to run. We're going to see who will end up shuffling in.
Yeah, we still have upcoming here. We got AA Drunken Turtle Racing with AA WA Kratagos. Dune Riders is going to be Serify. Renlos Racing is going to be Renlos Malik, of course. And then we got R/SC is going to be Angry Chisel is going to be racing for us today. So this is going to be our next heat. But before we jump into that next heat, let's take a look at our previous map or previous race Heat 3 replays.
And out the gate with all 4. I don't think Dean really turns that much at all. Which is, yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough one. You know, I'm not like I don't ever want to say that people are not practicing, but that kind of makes it look like people haven't practiced the race, or maybe got confused, or maybe got, you know, got caught off guard by the turns. So that's definitely a tough one.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of the times when I've been playing, my batteries die on a controller or something. You know, it seems like maybe a control failure or some other issue.
Yeah, that could have been an issue as well, or maybe the controls in that beginning part, because they just went straight. They didn't even turn or anything. So yeah, that's definitely a tough one. So, well, for my current standings that I currently have right now, we have Punch Nomi, Sky Racing Team, Delta Diatis, and ICC, who are currently, you know, if the standings would stay right now the way they are, they would move on to the winners finals. And then you have Capcom, Amrox Fan, Just Prush, Test, and Test Squadron, who would be that other runners-up finals. But right now, you still have 4 people. I think you still have a lot of great racers that could either, I would say maybe push ICC from that top spot and put them down in that runners-up finals. You got Renlos Malik, who can race really well. I think Kratigos these are veterans that, I've seen race over the span of either Demo Rally or over the span of the Stanton 7 turning into the System 7. So, I think there's just still a lot of racing to go, but if the standings would go the way they are right now, we would see, these Punch Nomi, Sire, Delta, and ICC racing for the maximum amount of points that they can get.
Yeah. And you got to think, if you're one of these racers coming in on Heat 4 from Drunken Turtle Racing, r/SC1, Dune Riders, or Renlos Racing, they're hungry. They're going to have to put in some good times to make it into the finale. But, they could do that. They could also be pretty competitive getting into the runners-up heat. But we'll have to see that.
Yeah, well, we still got a little bit more racing to go. I just want to say a couple things here before we do that. Thanks to all of the racers and competitors that are coming in and, giving this the best shot they got. Really appreciate you guys, kind of rolling through the punches of the whole new rule system and everything that's going on. But thank you guys so much for all of your, recent feedback as well. Shout outs to the staff who continues to help bring these races to life. Thank you guys all so much. And to those of you guys that are watching, whether you're finding ATMO Esports for the first time or not, if you guys are interested in, either racing or helping us put races together, come join the Discord. Definitely super important. We'd love to have you there. We just try to do what we can as best for the community as possible. We're not perfect, but we can definitely do our best, to be in that way. So if you guys are interested, whether you want to race or participate in an event, or whether you want to help put an event together, come join us, discord.gg/ATMO Esports.
All right. Excited for the final heat to set up the racers for the final and the runner-up. So heat number 4, our last 4 racers to put in their times. And again, the positioning is all based on the total lap time, whoever's got the fastest overall. It's not heat-based. It's just performance. We're going to see that. And then there is still 1 bonus point available for the fastest lap time, which currently Team Punch Nomis is secured, but by 0.007 seconds. I expect to see either in the, hopefully we see it in the finale, that fastest lap time locked in. So.
All right, well, here we go. We have the last heat. Let's see where these 4 next racers, I think there's still a lot of room, a lot of gap in between. All right, I think that hope is not lost. I think any of these 4 racers can definitely come in and knock any of these other teams out of the runner-up finals or out of the out of the winners finals. So they're still up, I would still be trying to beat the I would still be trying my best to beat the fastest person no matter what. So excited to see this next one come up.
Got to put the time in, make sure you can secure your spot in the final heats, the runners up or the final run. And we're getting a look at our lineup.
Who do you think you have on this one, Red?
Ooh, all right. So Kratigos, definitely from Drunken Turtle. We've seen some good performance there. Renlos Malik knows how to race, I think just a couple of unfortunate issues earlier on. Seraphi with the DNF earlier today, pretty early actually at the Levski Helix. And then Angry Chisel from r/SC1. It's going to be an interesting one. I would say, if I'm throwing my money around there, maybe Kratigos from Drunken Turtle. We'll see.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I've talked with us about this before. I know this is r/SC, their first, time qualifying into the System 7. I hope they're enjoying themselves as much as possible. I hope to see a lot more new. I know the thing is people are, not enjoying the current, ground vehicle physics, and a lot of people. I think we're gonna have a massive boom once we see the Ranger come into play as well. A lot of people are waiting for that. I know a lot of people are waiting for us to see when the Ranger comes out. I know that's gonna spike up participation in the Daymar Rally as well. So there's going to be a lot of fun things happening. It's just that, we all have to be patient right now. So, but it looks like we're almost ready. Oh,
Yeah.
somebody has the wrong X1.
Yeah, X1 set up there. Racers are ready. Good looking views there, and of course, yep, hopping up and down a little bit over the surface of the vehicle there, or the surface of the water. The grab up vehicles are fun. Good views down the starting line. Maybe a vehicle change out there. Somebody's got the base X1. Is that what we're seeing? Up.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing. I know this race. The vehicle is supposed to be the X1 velocity. So, I am currently unsure to see if the teams are going to have to change out. So make sure everybody has the same vehicle. So let's see what happens here. Here shortly, we'll get some word from our officials, but we'll stand by. But again, shout out to our camera team. Yeah, shout out to our camera team, though, man. They've been I know they've been having a lot of fun covering this course. So I think it's been great overall to see the different angles. So it's what do you call it? You're being able to I know we don't have a spectator mode yet, but trying to get an external view plus a cockpit view plus an external view. Definitely fun to get that overall. So
yeah, the time trial races that I've done in the past have been really interesting because you can take an 85X, that's the little two-seater Origin vehicle, put somebody in the passenger seat and let them experience racing for the first time without having to really go through and execute the track themselves. Really, yeah, blacking out, going through the turns with you, seeing how close the clearances look from that pilot seat. But yeah, you mentioned CIG's done a fantastic job giving us the external views and the advanced camera controls. Really, mastering that has made StarCitizen really into that screenshot citizen. You're developing beautiful terrain, beautiful spaceships like that. I think the number one thing you want to do is you want to go create beautiful screenshots of that, capture those, and I think that's one thing that set it apart from other games as well.
Yep. Here we go. All right, let's get on these X1 velocities and let's get this last heat track on the way because we got some more interesting racing to go overall. So I'm looking forward to it. By the way, I haven't seen anything about Invictus launch week. I wonder if they're changing things around or changing things up this year. Because normally they would say something at this point, so that means that they must be changing around Invictus launch week to something else, maybe.
Maybe. And I've seen some scuttlebutt recently, the last couple of days, about the Squadron 42 website getting some updates. Now, I'm not one to really peddle in theories or speculation, but what I have been seeing seems to be a little bit more preparedness towards maybe a Squadron 42 related kind of update soon. It's potentially coming in. I obviously don't have any background or insider knowledge of what's going on with it, but I'll say this much: with the buyback system changing, people no longer able to get some background there. Kind of repurchase the Squadron 42 packs. I myself had a couple that that are locked out now. But yeah, that's I think it's going to be an interesting year. They talk about Squadron 42 releasing this year. They've got a short amount of time to kick off that marketing.
Yeah, we'll see though. I think they're gonna have to reset the lobby here, so we'll come back here to some views and get this last heat race on the way. I think everybody needs to make sure they have the same vehicles before they can get the race off. So again, for this next upcoming race, just to let you guys know, I know these are the teams you guys are here to watch. r/SC Renslow's Racing, Dune Riders, and AAWA Drunken Turtle Racing. AAWA has been super supportive over the years for all of their racing, so they're awesome.
All right, and we're not going to call out who got the wrong X1 vehicle out there, but it's a good thing we checked at the start of the race. That could have gotten a little dicey.
Yeah, I mean, we have replays, we have receipts. So, with that being said, let's take a look at our ATMO Esports apparel here. I know we haven't talked about that since the beginning, so like if you guys are interested in any of our events too, and you guys want to rep that event, whether it's Daymar Rally, System 7, Fighter Flight, Gravity Rush, you guys are more than welcome to grab one. These are made by Arma.gg. They do a great job. The new jerseys are still great quality, lightweight, and even more breathable than the previous one. So shout out to them for working with us on that. And then if you want to, it's going to be going away on May 1st. The Enter Atmosphere 2956 t-shirts. So if you guys want to get this series of t-shirts, please go ahead and grab one. Funny enough, Red, last time everybody was telling us that I think they saw the Arrow one on ISC and they were like, "Oh, you guys still have these available?" Like, so we're gonna see another one of these on ISC, and then we're gonna be like, "No, they're not available, guys. I'm sorry, we took them out because," and we've given people chances to grab it. So make sure you guys grab at least the t-shirt if you guys haven't yet. It's great quality, great stuff.
Yeah.
So
t-shirts are great quality. I've got the System 7 jersey, and I'm loving the feel of it. It's nice and comfortable. The fit, I would say a lot of times you get jerseys and they have a weird fit where you have to get one size up. But yeah, it's the jerseys themselves are also a great design. So one I've actually worn around to a couple of bar citizens, and kind of repping my nerd culture. So.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm wearing the older System 7 jersey, which is fine. I think I have the new one somewhere in all of my mail that I got. I was actually last week doing a big fundraising event in Michigan, so I definitely need to get my new one on. But I'm glad you're liking it. I know, I think once all of the event seasons are over, we're gonna redesign it and then kind of have next year's iteration of the jersey ready to go by. Hopefully, I would say October, November by the holidays, which is where we kind of want to have it. So we're kind of changing around how we're doing the jerseys. So the new designs are going to be coming up soon, which I'm excited about.
Yeah. So we're getting reset on the lobby right now. We've got 2 additional heats, the final and the runner-up. So going to the runner-up after this, right? And then the final at the end. Is that the right order? Got some teams out there that are anxiously waiting for this last run, and some great performance up to this point. So
yeah, we still have a lot to go, and like you mentioned, runner-up finals and then the finals, and then we're going to crown to see who's going to maximize in those points, which is great. And just to kind of keep you guys informed, we have currently in the time trial standings, we have Punch Nomis in first, Sky Racing Team in second, Delta Dietus in third, in fourth we have ICC, in fifth we have Capcom, Amarok's Fang in 6th place, Just Prush in 7th place, and Test Squadron currently holding it in 8th place. So any of these teams that get a better time are going to start pushing people off the winners finals or off the runner-up finals as well. So let's see how these next teams are going to end up doing.
Yeah. And overall leaderboard updates after race 3. Sire Racing Team's up there with 61 points total. They're up there in second position right now. They're definitely very hungry. Amarok's Fang, they're coming up in kind of the runner-up on the bubble to get kicked out if, depending on how people perform right now. So Amarok's Fang in 3rd place, but might get kicked further down. Team Tang, they are they're out because Slum had a DNF on lap 1 from his initial run. Punch Nomis, they're well secured up at the top. So they started this week at 2 points. They've got 27 now. They've got an opportunity to secure even more. Bring that up with Sire Racing because Punch Nomis and Sire Racing, that's going to be the grudge match. Not only is it about the point differential there going into races 5 and 6, but the fastest lap time, 2 minutes 36.910 for Jack Odin and 2 minutes 36.917 for Ricky Ticky. that's a very competitive heat. Whatever happens from here on out, that's going to be one to watch out for. So.
All right, let's go into our lobby. Our last heat race should be ready here with our X1 Velocity folks. Hopefully having the right vehicles this time, and let's get this last race on the way. Sorry for the wait, the continued wait, guys. You know, every time we do the heats, we have to get new people in, so the lobby has to reset every single time. But we should be almost ready to go and ready to engage in this last heat race until we figure out who's going to be your winners, finals, who's going to be competing against each other for the top amount of points, and who's going to be the top 4 for your runner-up finals, who's going to be competing anywhere from 5th to 8th, which is still a good amount of points. So still not to be, what do you call it? Still not to be,
not written off yet.
Yes, that's correct.
Not
The perfect word.
Yet.
Thank you, Red. I appreciate it.
Hope is not lost. So yeah, this splinter we're seeing right here at the center, that's been the real differentiator. As you mentioned, it's a great kind of mid to late skill check each lap. Teams have been executing around that corner properly. I think are really showing a difference. It is a multiple second delay. If you don't hit that with the right momentum, you got to slow down your speed enough that you don't overshoot. And good looks. And the vehicles, yeah, toggling some headlights on and off. And yeah, seeing some paints on there.
All right, here we go. I think our teams are ready to roll. So our heat number 4 is about to start shortly.
You want to give us the 5-second countdown here?
Nah, you got it, Red. Thank you.
All right. Waiting for it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. We got Angry Chisel, Redlos Malik, Seraphi, and off to the right, that was Redlos Malik.
Yeah, it's very scary for this first turn because a lot of teams, that want to start wider and want to apex in the inside from the outside to the inside, can't do that. I don't think you can do that here, though. Maybe a little bit, but there we go. Seeing Redlos Malik in first, and Seraphi, man, just boosting through Angry Chisel, getting that takeover in, and Credigo's just lagging behind a little bit. But again, this is only lap number 1. Let's see what kind of spacing these teams are going to make.
Renlos out in front. Seraphi looked like they might not have gotten around the left side there. That might need a replay on it. Renlos Malik, though, up in front. Kratigos, Seraphi, looking good. Looking good. And Angry Chisel lagging a little bit behind. It's always sunset over here. That's my favorite part of this map.
Hey man, it's nice to not have random weather happening, so always gonna be fun. But here we go, Redlos Malik. Remember, they can't try to use that speed boost on any of these land. If they chip it, they're gonna eat the penalty, which can definitely eat a lot into their timing. So so let's see what happens. The biggest challenge here is gonna be that splinter. So let's see how they take it.
Yeah, Redlos Malik up ahead. Seraphi and Kratigos right there behind. Angry Chisel lagging a little bit. We'll get a view of about how far behind they are momentarily. Going into that splinter. Oh, great views here. Yeah, not pushing too hard as you go into the corner, making sure you can turn around, hit that corner. Did we lose Kratigos there from Drunken Turtle? That might have been unfortunate. Renlos and Seraphi coming through.
Looks like we lost 2 people.
Angry Chisel and Kratigos, maybe a collision there. That is unfortunate. Yeah, tree to the face as reported in the ticker here. All right, so we've got Seraphi, Redlos Malik. Redlos coming up in front. Seraphi shortly behind. Not seen Angry Chisel. There we are. Must have gotten turned around there. Angry Chisel hitting the spur, missed the entry, had to go back around for another one. Renlos Malik at 2 minutes 54 seconds for the fastest lap. Not quite good enough to get into the top right now, but at least puts it back in there. 2:54, 3 minutes 3 for the Dune Riders. That is going to be our one and only Seraphi.
Yeah, definitely needs to pick up the pace just a little bit here, but looks like both. And just very unfortunately for Drunken Turtle Racing for Kratos, but it's still Renlos needs a lot of pace to pick up here. Needs to do a good job at managing that boost. I think a lot of teams that are really pushing that boost in the beginning probably making a mistake because you have a lot of more, I guess, open water here for you to be able to kind of hit that maximum speed. And sometimes you need that boost to recover from maybe those tight turns or things like that. So.
We just saw Seraphi with the DNF. So, Renlos Malik and Angry Chisel out there. The last two surviving here, Renlos Malik in decent pace, a little slower than what we have seen. But then Angry Chisel, again, missing the entrance to the spur, which was a little bit slow, but still has an opportunity to put in a time. Renlos coming on in. And we'll have some reviews of this this race. Seraphi at the very beginning looked like he might not have gotten around that first island. But of course that might not matter now as he's DNF'd due to a collision. Kratos also having a previous collision. See what Renlos Malik can do, and also what Angry Chisel getting a better entrance approach on the splinter this time.
Yeah, if he did miss that turn, that could really put him in a tough spot because even if you get a top time, the penalty could be 30 seconds. It could be a significant amount that it puts you off, off the racing in general. So, but I would say continue racing. Let's see what happens here. It's unfortunate for Dune Riders in Drunken Turtle Racing. I think this track is definitely fun and unique, I think crashing is a tough one, especially eating trees to face. That's tough.
Yeah. And Renlos really just has to put in time right now. The getting in, I would say 8 minutes and 31 seconds more or less. That's going to be kind of where 8 minutes 31 is where Emrock's Fang Gravity Cat's at right now. He might be feeling pretty safe. Gravity Cat put in 2 minutes 46 lap times. Renlos is putting in about 2 minutes 30 or so, or if closer to 3 minutes really on lap 2. So 5 minutes 58 seconds, a little slower. Gravity Cat's got to feel pretty good. Might be coming in for the runner-up race momentarily. Renlos going, and Angry Chisel, opposite side of the map, coming in. Looks like they're just approaching that spur. Yeah, looking at the vapor trail behind. Taking a little heat off the juice there on the corner. Wrapping that around and getting ready for the exit. And there they go.
There you go. And this is that for Renlos Racing. This is his last lap. And Angry Chisel doing a good job, man. Keeping pace. So that's all you can ask for right now, as people who don't, push the gravel vehicle to the limits is still pretty good. I mean, and you can, man, this is not like you're in 0G, right? You're just on the ground. You can lower this, you can lower the gravel down to the bottom and just let it rip, especially over water. So,
yeah, Renlos coming in up to the spur for lap number 3, third time through here. Got to execute well if they want to get in through. There's Renlos Malik hitting there. A good turnaround there. Angry Chisel at 7 minutes 54 seconds. So yeah, about 4-minute lap times right now, which is unfortunate. But getting a lap time in at least will help with some positioning. A lot of DNFs not appearing, so. And Renlo's coming in for that final stretch as they approach the finish line.
Yeah, still very, very far there in the 830s.
Yeah. Amarok's Fang is going to lock it in for that runner-up final, Gravity Cat. So 8 minutes 43 seconds. That puts him at 9th place outside the runner-up, but getting a good placement at least with the initial heats. 9th place is not too bad.
Yeah, unfortunate DNS from quite a few teams, but let's see how. Obviously, r slash though doing a great job at just being able to finish. So, still good, still good in my book, man. Still good in my book.
Making it happen. And yeah, Angry Chisel still out there.
Oh, they're still a little bit halfway through the race right now. About to hit that. I think they're about to hit the splinter here in a few seconds.
Yep. Coming through the back half. And yeah, just putting in good time. Completing it. We've got so far there's been 4 DNFs. Crashes on their track. Which is unfortunate. And yeah, looking like we're going up towards the splinter now. Making sure this this initial approach was what got them on lap 1. They just missed the entrance. And yeah, really had to do a turnaround, line things up. We'll see how they're able to execute. 2 or 3 times now gone through. Yeah, losing all momentum in that corner has been a real, kind of the difference maker for a lot of folks. Trying to figure out what line to run it on, since it is a bit of an odd, kind of hook around there. But while Angry Chisel wraps them up, we do have the runner-up heat coming up next. So Endermaster from Catcom, Prushbringer from Just Prush, Renee from Test Squadron, Gravity Cat from Amarok's Fang, all looking pretty good on the runner-up finals. And then the final heat coming up.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very good and very interesting. I think winners finals and runner-up finals. To be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very much looking forward to it here shortly. We have again in the winners finals. Now that it's somewhat solidified, we got Punch Nomis jacketing coming back, and then we got Sky Racing Team. We got Ricky Tiki, Delta Dietis, and ICC. Who are going to be, placing either 1 through 4th, depending on how they come out here and race this time around. And then, of course, in the runner-up finals, we got Capcom, Just Prush, or Capcom Endermaster, who's racing, Just Prush, Prushbringer Racing, Test Squadron, who's going to be Renee, and then Amarok's Fang Racing, which is going to be Gravity Cat coming back. And I think Gravity Cat got a little bit lucky because I know Gravity Cat can definitely race a lot better there. But let's see. I think Gravity Cat can still maximize a fifth place spot, which I think gives them. I'm not sure if it's 10 or 12 points. I totally forgot, but still a good amount of points to kind of keep them relevant on the leaderboard. So,
yeah. So, seeing some folks with a really great execution around that splinter. Unfortunate missing a couple of islands throughout there. But excited to see what the runner-up heat is going to bring us here momentarily as they get that set. So, let's go see some replays of that heat number 4, how that worked. And yeah, obviously, Kratigos got a feel. Just did not finish. And then Renlo's coming in there.
Yeah, for Renlos, that still puts him in a 9th place spot, which gives him at least 2 points instead of 1, which is good overall. And I still want to give a big shout out to Angry Chisel from r/. Good job on finishing. I think that's what matters here to me. So awesome job to them.
Yeah, and Seraphi there, we're seeing Renlos. This was about when Kratigos, I think. If I that timing when Kratigos crashed just before the first of that Splinter line. And Renlos coming on through here. Getting launched a little far left. A little disoriented in that corner, so.
This should be our qualifier for next year. This track was awesome, to be honest. This track was incredible.
I would say, going over the water, pretty clear paths throughout. You don't have to worry about the train being too crazy. But switching that over, we've got the runner-up heat coming up now. So that's going to be determining 4th through 7th position. And then after that, finals, which is the 1st through 4th, or 5th through 7th position for the runner-up. So
there you go. Fifth grade there. So
numbers are hard. Math is hard, and I don't like it.
It's you should be good. So yeah, let's take a look at our leaderboard standings and the way that we structure points, so you guys can understand what these teams are going to be fighting for in a heat space scenario. So so let's take a quick look here. Not this one. Let's go to the I didn't say the leaderboard. Our point structure, please.
They're working on getting that set up.
There we go. So you have your finals, which is going to be your heats right now. So you're going to have Punch Nomis, Sky Racing Team, Delta Dietis, and ICC fighting for up to 25 points, which is pretty massive here, right? This is something that I would say Delta Dietis and both ICC need. So they're going to have to, or even Punch Nomis, because Punch Nomis right now are somewhat trying to make themselves back up in the leaderboard after a couple tough races of race 1 and 2 there, Red. So this is what these 4 are going to be fighting for. And then, of course, runner-up finals, 5th through 8th, you're fighting for anywhere to 10 points to 4 points. I think that even though Gravity Cat had a 831, I think Gravity Cat is in the position to possibly do a good job at taking this. But overall, you had Prushbringer, you had Endermaster, and you had Renee get a faster time. But I think that Gravity Cat can do. I think Gravity Cat can bring it back for Amarok's Fang Racing.
Yeah, and the difference in our runner-up heat, 4, 6, 8, or 10 points. So it is going to be a significant difference for whoever ends up coming in top here. Not quite as much of a difference as the finals, but yeah, definitely competitive. Not wanting to, like we said, not written off yet. So we'll see Endermaster, Prushbringer, Renee, and Gravity Cat up here momentarily for what should be a good competitive second round. Hopefully, they've worked out a few of their issues, if they had any. They're more familiar with the track now. They've seen it under competition. They've watched the other racers go through and execute that, and understanding what things they did wrong and learning from that. So.
Yep. Now let's take a look at our current standings, because right now, let's say for example, you have Punch Nomis. Let's say if because right now Jacketin currently has the fastest lap. Let's say Punch Nomi comes out on this win. That's going to be 26 points added on top of the 27 that they already have, which is going to put them a little bit at 53, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to really eject them and getting closer to Skyer. So Skyer needs to at least have they're already got a top 4, so they already know that they're going to get at least 12 points. So that still can put, Punch Nomis very close to them to hopefully try to take that win, to take that win from them in even the finals. So a lot of these teams like ICC and Delta Dietis really need to kind of step into play, because Delta Dietis can really make a good jump to, if they can win this one, they'll get at least 25 points. That will eject them all the way to at least about 33 points, which can put them anywhere in that top 6.
Yeah, and it's one thing that's really impressive here is how close this really middle of the pack, anything second place to ninth place, right? There's 13 points separating everybody. Sire Racing, Amarok Fang, Catcom, they're all going to be putting in some additional points now, as well as Punch Nomies, not to be left out, because we have Punch Nomies, Sire, Delta Diatus, and Premier Corps Colonial that are all on that left side. Or Delta Diatus is actually 11th place right now.
Yep.
They've got a lot to work for, and they're definitely going to shoot up the leaderboard, bringing that middle of the pack a lot more competitive.
Yep. That's why it's a little bummer to sometimes, miss teams that, that don't sometimes want to race because, you got Corota Racing Initial D who missed race 3, who's, just sitting there in that second place, and they could really, really be the ones that are pushing Skyer Racing down lower down the leaderboard or not getting as much points through these other races if they were still around. And that's why it's so important for all these teams to make sure that they have somebody ready to race at all times, because things like, Skyer, they're just going to continue. If they win this one, they're just going to continue with their dominance with a team that is just as highly as good competitors as Corota Racing could really be the team that pushes them off the edge. And, they're not here to do that. So that's why it's so important to have all the teams on the grid, during the season.
Yeah, and 7 races to put those points in. So it's very much a competitive thing, and we're excited to see what's going to happen with the leaderboard. It's going to shape up a lot more this week, and let's not forget there's going to be 2 races next week, and then the finale May 7th or May 2nd. So the next couple of weekends are going to be really competitive. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with them.
Yep, should be a good one. Well, let's take a quick look before we start up our runners-up heat race here shortly. Let's take a look at our upcoming races one more time. Just the last time before we jump into all these last incredible races. So let's go take a look at race number 5 coming up, which I believe we did change it to Marsfire Ridge one more time. Incredible swamp-like just course. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun and interesting as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be as fun as Deadman's Hook, but I think we're definitely going to be able to see some fun racing in this one, Red.
Yeah, and again, this in the Pyro system on Bloom, one of the most visually stunning areas. And yeah, having a pit lane there. This Marshfire Ridge on the Alpoa Nox, which is going to be our fastest ground vehicle so far, 224 meters per second. And we'll see who's really going to be comfortable letting that thing loose. It's going to be 2 laps. But you do have the option of the pit lane in case you run into any issues. If you bottom out that vehicle, the durability could become a factor. So,
yep. And then going into race number 6, which I continue to forget the name, unfortunately, but we got Saccharin's Gauntlet.
Yeah.
With this, like you mentioned, Baron's Orgrimmar style track. I'm gonna keep saying it because it looks so. It looks like when you go into Orgrimmar in the beginning, like when you're going through that stuff, that's what it looks like. But it looks so cool.
Nerd.
Yes, I know, just a little bit. I haven't played since like 2018.
Yeah, you definitely played more recently than I have. But yeah, this is an interesting one. You take a track through the city here, the little outpost. You come around the point out right near the edge of the lake, up and over the hill, and you've got to make sure as you're coming down there you don't lose control of your vehicle, since it is a little steep. It's got some terrain involved, and there in the middle, a little Connie for scale. A very interesting track. It's going to be a 2x2 grid, 5 laps of each, running with the Drake Mule, another one of my favorite vehicles, ground-wise. The little 6 wheels doing it.
Yep, here we go. I mean, Drake Mule, man, still, it's so fun to drive, especially with the old, driving mechanics, and that's why we're kind of using it more than often here. Trying to make at least some of these races be tolerable. The Cyclone RC is not as fun anymore going up a hill, or because the way they have it is like they added a lot of the gravlev or the ground vehicle physics, and just did it by weight, and that just didn't work out too well. That still needs balancing. So at least the Drake Mule, at least we have you, buddy. So
yeah, good old Mule, the workhorse. So, yeah. And then next week after that, so we got April 25th for races 5 and 6. Going into race number 7, the final on May 2nd, the Volcano Lake. You talked about this one a little bit, that Polaris Bridge on the far side, one of the more unique features. But really, running the perimeter around this lake, and it's a pretty long track. What was it, 45 plus minutes?
Yeah, it's a pretty long one. I think with the vehicle changes, you're looking about 45 minutes to an hour, maybe a little bit more, depending. But I think that with the Lynx, I think it's going to make it a little bit more tolerable after you swap out from Cyclone RC. But like we would normally use Cyclone RC for more races, but this time around, Cyclone RC only has one race. So we definitely need more vehicles. I think we just got the new Gray Cat vehicle that we definitely, that's going to be included in prizes and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to using that next year as well.
Yeah, and all 16 teams are going to be eligible to race in this 7th race. Continuing on, obviously trying to earn as many points as they can to lock that in. We'll have to see this week, going into next week. The middle of the pack after this week, I think, is going to be shaken up significantly. There's going to be a lot of competition next weekend with Marshfire Ridge and Saccharin's Gauntlet. Talking about 52-ish points if somebody's able to take a gigantic swing there. But really going into next week, it's anybody's game in the middle of the pack here, right? We've got a few teams that are, kind of still in the single digits, but Team 9 through Team 2, 20 to 33 points out there. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting, highly competitive series of races. And, as we mentioned, that's why it's important that every team has an opportunity to field people. So...
Yep. And then lastly, one more time, we have Gravity Rush coming up. So if you are a ship racer, okay, this one is for you. All right. This is no teams. This is you relying on your speed, on your demon speed in Arena Commander and in the PU. So bring that to life. All right. You need to qualify by putting a time trial lap in Lorville Outskirts. Signups are hopefully going to be up next week. We'll announce that in our Discord, so make sure you guys are there. So Gravity Rush, make sure you guys are there, ready to roll. All right, we have some incredible prizes for that event as well. With some Corsair peripherals and of course some stuff from Virpil Controls as well. So make sure you guys join on that and check out Gravity Rush one more time. Hey everyone, welcome back here, and we are just getting our lobby ready to go for this runner-up finals, which is going to be once again Capcom, Just Brush, Test Squadron, Amrox Fang Racing are going to be here shortly, and we're going to be seeing who's going to place between 5th and 8th, taking away some very good amount of points that are needed to jump up in that leaderboard.
Yeah, 10 points, 8 points, 6 points, and 4 points are on the board. So we got Endermaster, Crushbringer, Renee, and Gravity Cat, who are going to be in there trying to get in through that positioning, get their team set up for this week. Now, we had some differences in the time performance. Endermaster with the Catcom team came in about 8 minutes, 13 seconds total. That's only, that's only like 3 or 4 seconds off Premier Corps Colonial, that 4th position that ended up in the finals. So they're going to want to make sure that they can lock in that performance and really showcase how they're going to perform at this track today. It's been a great track so far. There are a couple of things we mentioned. Boost management is one of the keys. You've got some straightaways where teams can go really full bore, maximum boost, but you're going to have to watch out for that. About 3/4 of the way through the track, there's that splinter area where teams have to go down a narrow passage, make a tight turnaround, and back out against the traffic. We saw that as a potential issue. Now, we're going to see these teams come in. We've got Renee, Gravity Cat, Prushbringer, Entermaster, all running for the runner-up set here on the heat. And it sounds like we're ready to go look at them in-game on that lineup.
All right, here we go. Time to chop it up. Let's see who's going to get some points on the board and who's going to go home crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, sorry, not go home crying because they're already home. But yeah,
they could be they could be somewhere else. Someone is going to go to sleep crying tonight. Maybe that. So good look at the track here. Gotta love the water, all the terrain. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the moss shots there, team. I'm just kidding.
The vehicles getting lined up on the starting line, trying to get lined up and ready. It's important to focus on the environment because that's really what sets the game apart. Yep. Great views now coming into our racers on the starting line. This is for the runner-up heat. Race number 4, Deadman's Hook on the Ellis and Arena Commander on the Origin X1 Velocity. 3 laps, runner-up heat in 10 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're off. We see Endermaster, Prushbringer, Renee, and Gravity Cat all vying for 5th through 8th position, trying to lock in those points with an opportunity for 1 bonus point if they're able to get the fastest lap time. We'll see if they can steal that from Jack Odin or Ricky Tiki, who definitely... Oh, we might have seen a collision there. Was that Renee and Gravity Cat? I think... Yeah, we might have lost both of them. We'll see there. Like, yeah, that's Test Squadron. Renee is out. And Gravity Cat. Quite unfortunate. So Prushbringer, just Prush, and Catcom, Endermaster are left. That is quite unfortunate there. Now, 2 racers going. But hey, 7th and 8th place, nothing to be too upset about. Now, Gravity Cat and Endermaster doing their best just to keep a good line, fighting for 5th place. 10 points or 8 points on the line for either. So, great looking views over those islands. Turn across. On this far side, yeah, definitely managing boost, getting yourselves, kind of lined up on the right approach, coming in towards that splinter, and making sure you can manage your speed, decelerating at the right time, keeping enough momentum to manage this tight turn without overshooting, maintaining momentum, and keeping that going. Great views as we go through. Endermaster. Looks like he's a little slow. Loses it to Prushbringer, who overtakes on the corner. Wow. Better execution from Prush. Got to feel good about that from Team Just Prush with Catcom right there behind him. That's the skill check. As we said, 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's different ways to definitely approach that turn, and I think we've seen that's the strategy that Endermaster is trying to take. Probably do, keep it a little bit more wider and just, go as fast as you can and just take the kind of like I would say the time penalty there for his recovery at that point. But they're still very close together.
Oh yeah, this is neck and neck. Any small deviation off track you're going to lose this lead almost immediately. And you see 2 minutes, 48 seconds, 2 minutes, 48. Fastest laps we saw were about 2:36. So they're going to have to pull together 2:48 and 2:50.
Yep, another overtake off that first turn for Endermaster there. So Endermaster and Prushbringer are just taking the lead. And while they're at that 2:48, they need to have one of those laps where they're around that 2:36, 2:38. So at least about 10 seconds, kind of. Well, I guess at this point they're fighting for that, 5th and 6th place spot, but still, it would be good if they won that extra point to try to aim for that 2:35 and get that fastest lap if they're able to, and steal that point away from Jacketin, as mentioned.
Yeah. And the real bonus to get them from 10 to 11 points, or 8 up to maybe 9, if it can happen. It's an outside chance, but not impossible. And yeah, seeing both racers here neck and neck. The vapor trail's coming off of there into the sunset here at the Deadman's Hook. Looking great. Endermaster is making the corner. Wow, the tree's passing right in front. Enigmatic with the camera work, strafing sideways to get us the view. You gotta love it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you're, there's some people thinking about, so what happens with the placement with Amarok's and Test Squadron? Well, mostly, if they both ended up going out at that same positioning, we'll probably end up, according to the officials or how officials play it out, we'll probably end up using, their timing as their placement. So that means that Renee will end up, on that 7th spot, and then Amarok's Fang will stay in that 8th spot as well. So,
we might have just seen Prushbringer collide. Prushbringer is out on that corner, a little overshot and DNF'd there. So, that is quite unfortunate. Catcom, Endermaster is the one who is leading. Prushbringer is out. So still going for best times, but kind of locked in now. 5th position. That was unfortunate. That turn, again, the skill check, kind of an equalizer.
Yeah, this runner-up finals is absolutely brutal. Let me tell you, absolutely brutal.
Yeah, we lost Renee and Gravity Cat right off the bat. Prushbringer, there, halfway, halfway mark basically. And Endermaster taking his victory here, 5th place, and hoping for a good time here, but no pressure since it is only one single bonus point. But honestly, nothing else to lose. So. You love the look of the X1 profile here, as it looks like speed.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go quick here. And Capcom is going to be the one to finalize this here in this last race. Let's see if they can push it. He's, Endermaster, you're pretty much free right now, right? So I would try to push it in as far as you can, maximize your boost, and see if you can hit that 235 and get some extra points on your board for yourself.
Yeah. Great looking approach over the water here. And the handling and maneuverability of these vehicles is just fantastic. Good approach into the Splinter.
Good timing overall. There we go.
A little over aggressive there, but managed to make it happen. Cautious around that turn. Yeah.
There we go. Start to push it. I see why Endermaster is cautious and took that the way that they did, but still, like, You know, that
Yeah,
kind of can always
several
cost you time, but
yeah,
still.
several seconds
Yep.
that it costs you there. Coming around Lone Pine Island up towards the end here. Finish line for Entermaster, Team Catcom, System 7, race number 4, Deadman's Hook, getting 5th position.
Gonna push it here, and then here should be the 238. Unfortunately, didn't get it.
Yeah.
Still a good lap, but didn't get it. Didn't get where Capcom wants to be right now.
8 minutes and 11 seconds, 2 seconds better than their initial heat. But yeah, as you mentioned, still not fast enough to match up for Amur with Premier Corps Colonial at 8 minutes 10. Okay. Now we're getting lined up for the final 4. This is going to be one of the most exciting, the most competitive. You definitely want to stick around to watch this. We're going to have Jacketin from Team Punch Nomies, Ricky Ticky from Sire Racing Team, which, by the way, again, I've said this multiple times, their fastest lap times are separated by 0.007, 7,000ths of a second, not even 100th of a second separation. So they're hungry for it. Now, not to be left out, Czech League from Delta Diatis Racing coming in 3rd place, and Amur from Premier Corps Colonial, which I'm not sure if you've been watching chat, but they're certainly a crowd favorite. So this heat is the one to watch.
Yeah, this is going to be a good final race here. I believe they're going to be resetting the lobby here, but we got some replays. So let's take a look at what happened here in our last heat, or our runners-up race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we have like the initial run here where man, that's tough, because I know Gravity Cat definitely right there, they just bump into each other.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't get the full replay there, but you can see where, Test Squadron try to engage there, but people, I mean, especially when you're racing in Gravlov, you can use things like Toby, look to your sides, use camera boost. There's different things that I'm not saying that you're not able to avoid it, but there's things where you can I would say always in that beginning, take it easy, don't go crazy in that one.
Well, we saw at the first lap, Prushbringer overtaking Endermaster in the same corner, and here, Prushbringer just pushing a little too hard. You see that little blue flame there? That was Prush's end. So, yeah. And the remainder of the race, just getting these cinematic views. Gotta love it. Wrapping around these islands. A good runner-up heat. Competitive, I will say. Some unfortunate collisions there. But folks have to feel good about where they're at right now, heading into the next race. But we've got the big one coming up, guys. The final heat with our top 4 teams to determine first position. And what do you think? Are we going to have a new fastest lap time in this heat, since the pressure is on?
Yeah, we have, Punch Nomies. We got Jacketing coming back, Skyer Racing, Ricky Ticky, Delta Diatis, Czech League, and, of course, ICC Amur, Premier Corps Colonial. All right. We got teams from everywhere. We got Spanish teams. We got French teams. We got Canada team. And then we got a team from EU. So, I mean, well, French is EU, but from... Punch Nomies is like they're from EU and US, so I'm just putting them in different spots. But yeah, this is going to be a fun one. This is one that I would like to watch, and I think that in that beginning turn, man, teams just have to take it easy, kind of like how Jacketin did in that first in his initial race. Like, took it easy in that first turn. Don't worry about crashing into people. Let people do their thing, and then just pick up the speed, because I think he knows very, very well the Grablev vehicles and where they need to pick up that speed. So yeah,
let the pack get some separation, because that's going to be pretty aggressive. We saw Renee and Gravity Cat collide there. Now, last week at the Dust Hustle, we also saw another member of Team Test Squadron with a big collision there. That was Kamikaze, who right off the bat kind of went left, came back in right into the pack. And unfortunately, with that was everybody out there, all racers on the field. So made it kind of difficult, caused some collisions, incurred some penalties. But, we look for that type of competitive nature, but also being safe as you're going to do an overtake. So.
Yeah, let's see. I hope Chad is ready for, this is what a lot of us has been waiting for. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So, one more time, thank you. I hope you guys are enjoying today's races. Today's races definitely taking a little bit longer, but it's okay. We have to remake the lobby as we need to, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a lot of these.
Let's see it from chat. Who is your guys' favorite for this final heat? Who's going to win race number 4, Deadman's Hook? Is it going to be Team Punch Dummies? Is it going to be Sire Racing Team? Is it going to be Delta Diatus? Or is it going to be Premier Corps Colonial? Let's see your favorites in chat and let them know who you're rooting for.
Yep, I think we are ready to roll. So let's go right into the lobby and get ready for our last big race of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, put in chat who you got, who you're predicting to win here. And Red, I'm going to ask you first. Who you think is going to be taking it here in this winner's finals?
I think Jack Odin with Punch Nomies, he's going to get it. I think because they're so hungry. They came in with 2 points today, and they've already gotten one locked in, right? One win earlier today, moved themselves up on the leaderboard to 27 points. They're hungry for it. I think they're going to go for it because they've had 2 races that were terribly, and it was outside of their control, which was unfortunate. I would say there's that, but the commentator curse, of course. I don't want to be left out too much. I also I can't go without saying Amur from Premier Corps Colonial, a crowd favorite and definitely one that would be an interesting choice to lead. Premier Corps Colonial currently at 7th place, tied with Punch Dummies for the overall leaderboard points. So between those two, somebody's got to shake it up for Sire.
Yep. I think, I'm going to go with Czech League here. I'll be honest, 808 in his last race, not too far from, a Punch Nomies or Sky Team racing. I think, him racing with some of these guys that have put in a faster time is only going to elevate his game here. So, I also don't want to commentators curse anybody, but it's going to be an interesting one. I think, I love ICC, but I think Delta Diatus needs this one under their belt. So. Yeah, I'm excited.
That would certainly shake up the middle of the pack there. Delta Diatus with 8 points on the leaderboard coming in to race 4. So we'll see what they're able to lock in.
All right. Looks like our teams are ready. Red, I'll let you get this countdown on, and I'm excited to see how this race begins.
Yep. All those vehicles looking great, lined up for what is the final heat of Race 4 Deadman's Hook of the System 7 series. Origin X1 velocity. Let's get it started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're off. Look at them go. Ricky Ticky coming in left hard around everybody. Check Leak coming for the inside. Jakodin, Amur, Ricky Ticky, check. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, that
Ricky Ticky right out in front.
Yeah, Ricky Ticky is not scared. Went straight left to have that bigger turn on the right and didn't care who was to their left. But again, Ricky Ticky is a very good ship pilot, so definitely knows how to look left and be able to see if there's somebody he's going to collide with. So, I mean, I don't doubt his ability. Very good racer. So let's see how Ricky Ticky take it and if they can keep up this lead.
Yeah. Out in front for now. We'll see. There's a couple of places throughout this track where, obviously maxing out your boost, ending up on a straightaway with a little bit of lag time. And then, that splinter, how you execute that corner. It's got to be smooth. It's got to be clean. And you want to maintain enough momentum that you're not stalling out. So we see Rikitiki, Jakodin, Amur, and Checked Leak.
Man, what a sick view up there. And this is one team that I will say y'all need to be careful going into that splinter because these guys are making me nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, Red. This,
and
yep.
rip camera guy, B graphics, trying to get us the view, sacrificing it all. Thanks for that.
My
Okay, let's see.
man.
Ricky Ticky, Jacoden, Amur, and Check Leak there.
I still think that this is going to be anybody's race right now and how close they are just because of this section here. Look, everybody is right there.
Yeah.
So close together. This section is that section where people need to be careful and not run into the lane. Ricky Ticky doing a good job, and wow, doing a great job at just swarming out of there, and he's back out in the main in the main waterway. Man, this is scary. This one is insane.
Yeah. Really well executed for most. The pack kind of tightened up behind Ricky Ticky. Gravity Cat or Check Leak, Emur, and Jacoden all kind of got jumbled up a little bit there. I was concerned there was going to be some collisions, but we're looking all right now. Jacoden, Check Leak coming in here with Emur right behind. Very competitive still. About 500 meters or so for Ricky Ticky as they are rounding into 2 minutes 42 seconds. Now that is not quite fastest lap time. We're gonna have to see that 1.8 seconds behind from Punch Dummies to Delta Diatis, 247, 248. Yeah, a couple of seconds from each. Not too bad. Not too bad. Great performance out of lap 1. We'll see if it holds up.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a point where some of these racers are going to be turning things up here. And remember, Jacoden had the same pace, but ended up still with a faster lap time by 10 milliseconds here. So let's see how this plays out. Still can earn that extra point plus, well, whatever else placement points they can. But this is some serious concentration by all teams and some great racing by everybody. Yeah, I mean, as we're seeing now, Ricky Ticky still leading a little bit. Jacoden, Amur, and you got Check Leak right behind Amur, in that fourth place spot. So
yeah,
man, this is looking. I think any small mistake can really, put anybody in a loop. So.
Any approach you miss, if you don't hit that corner with the right momentum, as we said before, that's the mid-lap skill check that equalizes things. We saw Ricky Ticky execute it very expertly. Basically the 4 times we've seen it so far. Let's see if we can continue 5 and 6. Completing the next 2 laps as we get in here for that approach into the splinter. See how they're able to execute this. A little slow. So you pull the momentum down.
I think Ricky is so smooth, though. The way he's taken this, he's been one of the smoothest.
Yeah.
But look at Jacoden.
Jacoden made up some time there, I think.
Yep, he definitely did. And not letting Ricky Ticky take that.
Wow. And look at that. All 4 stacked right on top of each other. This is highly competitive. Yeah. I'm going to pass that. I call it the Lone Pine Island.
Lone Pine.
Ever watch Back to the Future? They had the Twin Pines Mall after Marty runs over one of them. In the earlier timeline, comes back to the present, and it's the Lone Pine Mall, so the Twin Pines.
He runs over a mall.
He runs over a pine tree at this farm.
It was like a whole mall.
There were 2 pine trees right next to each other, and the DeLorean plows through one. So
I know
the Twin Pine Mall originally. Yeah, fine, whatever. All right, Ricky Ticky keeping him honest.
Dude, the showmanship here is absolutely incredible. I think I'm fully impressed by Ricky Ticky right here. Just keeping the pace no matter what, really just smoking out Jacoden currently, and Ricky Ticky is a force to be reckoned with in the Deadman is hooked right now. So what is going on here? Hey, I'm gonna say you fully % earning it right now for Sky Racing Team, but it looks like they want to win this really bad this year. So
Yeah, a lot of aggression. They're hitting it. They're not making it easy for anybody. So Ricky Tiki, Jack Odin right behind. Yeah, I will say it's been really great to see Team Punch Nomies put in some numbers today. Races 1 and 2, they really kind of got left out, as have other teams. But obviously with the top qualifying time to come in, not be able to get really more than a single point each in races 1 and 2. Races 3 and 4 looking like they're gonna shape up to be a little bit better for Team Punch Nomies. Delta Diatus, though, Czech League coming in there has to feel really good. They started off at kind of 11th place right now, coming into this race. Watch Ricky Tiki as he executes this corner.
So
And
good.
Jacoden.
So good. I don't know how Ricky Tiki is doing it. Oh, be careful there.
Yeah.
Man.
Quite close.
Czech League and Amur fighting for that other spot, another position right now.
Yeah, that's where we want to see the right on top of each other there.
And Czech League really taking it.
Ripping. Wow.
Overtaking him, taking third place right now. And this is where it comes to play. That is a significant change of points, especially, that is an extra 3 points that you're fighting for. So right now it's looking like Delta Diatus with Czech League has just passed Amur, but let's see what happens. There's still one more turn to go.
Yeah, and Ricky Tiki and Jacoden up front. Ricky Tiki, Jacoden, look at that time. Oh my gosh. Right there. 2 minutes, 38 seconds.
That was
2 minutes, 37. Wow. 2:36 was the time to beat. So Jacoden still keeps the fastest lap time if it holds up. Wow. 2:38 on everybody for that fastest lap time. Wow.
That was a tight race.
What a finish.
Now towards the end right now, that was incredibly tight there. And that was, man. I know they're gonna want to take a look and see if he hit the land there towards the end, but what a race, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. That last race was head to head at every moment, at every turn. That's what we want to see every single race. All right. That's what we want to see from now on. That was absolutely nuts, absolutely insane. Amazing.
Yeah. The lap time or the finish times there, 7:59.114 versus 7:59.523. I mean, that's a photo finish for sure. Then coming up behind, fastest lap times, 2:37, 2:38. Not quite the 2:36 we saw before. So even if Ricky Tiki steals the win, Jacoden still has the bragging rights for the fastest lap. So we'll see that. That was quite an amazing finish, very competitive all the way through the end. Obviously, Ricky Tiki getting an early start, holding on to it, executing flawlessly, I would say, but just falling a little short, not getting that fastest lap time, if I had to criticize one thing. So
let's take a quick look at our replays of this winners finals, or this finals race. I keep saying winners finals, I don't know why, but of this final race here between these incredible teams putting on a show. And I hope that every single person at home really enjoyed this race, man. This was absolutely incredible. So the splinter, everything, very well done by all the teams, man. I don't know, look at Ricky Tiki's, he's just zooming through that.
Yeah, that was the perfect rhythm there.
Yeah, like he just like that. You see the big difference with how some people take it compared to Ricky. Ricky is like, he slows down, but not as much as you think he needs to slow down. And then I feel like in the first lap, Jacoden completely slowed down, and then in that second lap, he kind of figured maybe what Ricky Tiki was doing, and then just like there. It was like a complete big turn there, right? And then, dude, that was wild. That was good. That was good.
Yeah, great looking corners there, and the skill check midway through, about that 3/4 of the way. Wow, what a close and intense race. What a great way to end it for race 4. So.
Yep. I mean, I think Delta Diatus did a great job too. I believe Delta Diatus took third there, coming from the back of that last splinter turn. And then Premier Corps, Amur still doing a great job. You guys landed some great points here. So, just go into race 5 and 6. You guys have a whole week to start hitting those races and get ready. But I think, man, that was absolutely incredible racing by not only those 4 teams, but everybody else throughout the day. Great job. Seriously, fun day of racing here in the System 7, 2956.
Yeah. Congratulations, everybody. And yeah, don't forget, tune in next Saturday for races 5, 6, and then Saturday after, May 2nd, for the final at Volcano Lake.
Yep. We'll have results posted in the Discord once we have looked over all the footage and reviews. We won't have the results posted after the race today because we need to calculate some things. But Red Monster, what are you up to this weekend? I know are you still streaming on Sundays? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so we'll be doing our Sunday morning mining session. We're going out for gemstones. We're going to try and get the blueprints for the Pembroke and the Novikov suits so we can go increase our environmental capacity under the new crafting system. And then, yeah, after that, doing a little bit of yard work and getting ready. I'm actually entered into an adult Pinewood Derby at one of my local breweries. So I've got to go carve my my Derby car. Get that ready for next week. After races 5 and 6, I'm going to go do some real racing myself. So
awesome. I might have to go to a K1 Speed or something after this, but I need to recover first. So thank you. I know my energy wasn't as much there for you guys today, but we'll get that. Hopefully that energy comes back next week. Almost fully recovered. I can still feel myself being a shortness of breath after whatever virus got caught on to me. It needs to go away. So, but thank you guys, everybody watching. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for the System 7 race 3 and 4. It was absolutely magnificent. A great final display of races. I know those guys are probably feeling the adrenaline, and that's what these races are all about. So once again, signups for Gravity Rush is coming up next week. So pay attention to that on our Discord. And if you want to come race or if you want to come help us put an event together, discord.gg/ATMO Esports. We'd love to see you in the Discord, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Make sure you guys go check out Red Monster SC on Twitch. He's tagged on the title, so all you got to do is click on that and go follow. Make sure you guys go check him out for some Star Citizen streams, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.